understanding is correct, if EMPD officers were to go to KZN, as you say, or to Soweto to arrest a suspect and confiscate stolen goods, when you come back to EMPD offices, where do you record that event?
The members are having pocketbooks. Members are having, the units are having OP, but we had a challenge for the past 10 years. They use their own diaries, their own books, they record. But monthly, there's a stats that we're getting in terms of the feedback.
You say it will only appear in the member's individual diary?
Yes,
So if a member went to Soweto to arrest a suspect, or let's not use an arrest because somebody has to be detained if they are arrested. So if they went to Soweto and they confiscated stolen goods, the only place they would record that and the fact that they've confiscated goods is in the member's own individual diary.
From our side, we can check through that.
Where do they book the goods that they have confiscated?
I would say it depends per operation. Sometimes you book, or sometimes you, I can't tell. But they are supposed to go to the police station or book it where it's necessary. For example, if you find the explosive, you can't take them to the police station. You call a relevant team to do that. If you find, for example, animals, it's the issue of SPCA. It differs per operation, per your, let me say per operations because
I think you assisted me halfway through your answer, because if I understand you correctly, if they confiscate stolen goods in Soweto, they must take them to the police station.
Yes.
And that must be recorded there.
Yes.
That's all I needed to
Then
clarify.
through our own books, then we'll get it maybe weekly or monthly, that there was this operation that was done. Because you can't be there every day.
Thank you.
If there's no notebook, because the police officer has lost their notebook, we will never know about that operation.
I must say that, Chair, because that's one of the challenges that was having us. For the past 10 years, we didn't have pocket books, OP books. You see, administration was not there. You see, you only depend when they reported. You see, that's why sometimes you'll get a complaint after a year or 6 months or 7 months. You ask, what happened? You see, why didn't you do this? Why? No, we didn't have this and that. You see, that's a challenge. But at least now, when I acted, we were able to have an agreement with government printers of pocket books of OP, because we depended, to be honest, we depended on SAPS. If such police station doesn't have, we were always begging, asking for OP books. You can't ask for SAPS pocket book because it's writing SAPS. But for OP book, members will go, or unit commanders. In fact, we're putting them into pressure. That's not supposed to be like that. They will go to a certain police station. If you've got an extra OP, please, may you please borrow us, or may you please give us that OP book. Administratively, it was a very serious challenge, I must say, to this commission. But I'm told now that, it's just that I'm suspended, but they've started to deliver. The government printers, they've started to deliver OP books, pocket book. I think it has improved now. Because by law, each and every member must issue a pocket book. The unit or the precinct must have an OP where you record. Book members on duty, you book members. So you can't book them on your own diary or pocket book, because you may lose it at any time. And that OP must be at the office, so that if the other shift is coming in, the precinct commander or that, sometimes you don't have. In other stations, we are having challenges of commanders, but that member that has been identified to be an acting inspector must book all those that are on duty, and they must sign that we are here, everything. So that's a challenge that we had as the
Commissioner,
EMPD.
because you have a habit of speaking for a long time, let's not focus on other members, let's focus on you. So your OB book, or the OB book that applied to you, and your diary. So forget about the other members and other officers. Your one, you are able to produce it.
No, I don't operate on the OP book or diary.
So if you were to go to Mfuleni or Midval or Soweto, where would you, not other members, you, Julius Mkwanazi, if you were going to an operation outside of Ekurhuleni, where would you record that?
By law, I'm supposed to report it on the police radio and say, we are moving out of jurisdiction. But again, it's a challenge because we don't have communication radios too.
I don't want you to give long answers.
Oh,
Where do you record? Is there a piece of paper where you, Julius Mkwanazi, records that I was in Soweto on this date, it was an operation, and we confiscated stolen goods?
No, I don't have, but I depend on members when they say in their book, they said the chief or the deputy chief or the director arrived at this time, visited us, they record on that.
All right, thank you.
And when they submit their monthly or what, they will also say that we were visited by this person.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And then lastly, on this 2025 agreement at page 403, clause 727, it reads, request for assistance shall be in writing. In case of emergency, request may be made orally. However, shall be confirmed by writing within 3 days. You see where I'm reading?
Page 425, paragraph.
403, page 403, sorry. Clause 7.2.7.
Yes, clause.
7.2.7
Yes.
says request for assistance shall be in writing. In case of emergency, request may be made orally. However, shall be confirmed by writing within 3 days. You see that?
Yes.
And so all requests from one or other to operate outside their jurisdiction, that's my understanding, is that the request must be in writing. It allows for emergency assistance, but prescribes that such requests may then, in those circumstances, be made orally, but must be confirmed within 3 days in writing. Is that, do you understanding as well?
Yes, we are having such requests.
Yes.
Yes.
But is that how you understand 7.2.7? So basically, the request must be in writing, that requirement.
I think I've answered that, Commissioner earlier on.
No, we haven't dealt with this particular point of the request having to be in writing.
Yes, it says so. Yes,
Okay,
it
now,
says so.
I just wanted to test your understanding because then follows my question. Are you saying that what is in 7.2.7 altered the position as was legally permissible prior to the signature of this document? Was it changing anything? 7.2.7.
No, it wasn't changing anything.
Okay.
In fact, it was adding on some of the operations that we're having. They're done in writing, in time.
All right.
Sometimes you sit and plan as a joint operation with other law enforcement stakeholders.
So it wasn't changing, you say. So therefore, even prior to the signature of this particular MOU, it has always been the requirement that assistance be made in writing. And that's what you practiced within EMPD. Am I correct?
You are correct, but you must also read it with what Commissioner Baloyi was saying in page 415. That,
Yes,
which
well,
covers that in some of the operations, members may act, some may give reports, or sometimes it may not be a planned operation, you see. But there are operations, I agree with you, there are planned operations where there's an operational plan, where all law enforcement stakeholders, they sit, execute together in all different, in 2 or 3 or 4 different municipalities with other law enforcement agencies.
For the record, page 415, which Commissioner Baloyi referred you to, doesn't say you may or may not file reports. I think page 415, as I understand it, in fact makes the point that you may not operate outside your jurisdiction unless you have a written agreement with the authority in that next jurisdiction. That's what it tells you. So absent such an agreement, you don't have legal authority.
That was my understanding, but it was corrected.
Okay.
Commissioner Mkhwanazi, I thought we were agreed that 415, what I read in page 415, sets the boundaries of what you are allowed to do. It says that the powers in 64F may only be executed within the Ekurhuleni Metro Council unless an appropriate agreement has been signed with a neighboring municipality. And what that means, which I've just read, is that absent an agreement
Yes.
with another municipality, you may not operate in the jurisdiction of another municipality. You understand that? You agree with that?
Yes, Chair, you confused me.
Did I or the chair confuse
No, the
you?
Chair confused me.
How now?
Because
You said the way Commissioner Baloyi read it, and then you said whatever it was you said. And I said to you, this is not about how Commissioner Baloyi read it. It is about how it actually reads. That's all I said. What's confusing with it?
yes, Chair, that's what I was saying. I've said that means it has been our limitation.
That
We-
means?
It has been our limitation. We need to correct it and make sure that we stick to what Commissioner
But
Baloyi
that
is
had
saying.
nothing to do with what I said. Because as I say, all I said was to correct you when you said, as Commissioner Baloyi reads it. So I just said, it's not about how Commissioner Baloyi reads it.
I get
It's
it,
about the actual content.
Yes, I
And
get it, Chair.
it's about how it actually reads. Am I making sense?
Yes, Chair.
All right. And also another issue I may raise with you, I'm not sure that I understand your cross-referencing to what Commissioner Baloyi read when Ms. Sillo is engaging you on 727. 727 is about requests for assistance, whereas what Commissioner Baloyi read is about where each metro or municipality may exercise its functions, which is that they may only do so within their jurisdiction. That's not about assistance as envisaged in 7.2.7. Do you get the difference?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, Ms.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. And if you get the difference, you will leave it at that. The answer you've given stands, or would you like to revisit it?
No. We revisit. When it's a request, you see, it's very clear.
Yes,
Yes, yes,
it must be in writing.
yes.
So now my question was, the clause I read for you comes from a 2025 agreement. Do you understand?
Yes, Chair.
I wanted to understand whether that requirement was, whether your understanding was that there was such a requirement even prior to 2025. Have you always understood that there must be a request in writing?
You are correct.
That's been your understanding?
Yes, you're correct.
And that is how you have conducted operations outside Ekurhuleni?
Yes, if there's a request. we
Which
are doing
request
that.
would be in writing?
Yes.
Okay. I think I'm clarified, thank you.
But that would not always be the case, because on your evidence, if you are chasing a person and they cross into the jurisdiction of another municipality, you can't just let them go. You will chase them and arrest them. I think that's how I understood your evidence.
You are correct, Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, I may talk maybe, for example, when it's crowd management, where they know it's a big joint operation in request. That's what has been happening.
Well, maybe let's use a simpler example. If you're chasing a speeding driver, a driver who was involved in criminal conduct in your municipality, and you chase them and they cross into the JMPD jurisdiction, what do? Do you pursue them into that jurisdiction, or do you stop where your line ends?
We do pursue, Chair.
Yes.
And it's not only limited to that.
Yes.
Even when members are working operational, they get information now that we must go to that. They do that.
Yeah, so you do that even where there has not been a request for assistance? I think
Yes.
is the point that I'm trying to
Yes,
establish.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I think as well, I'm trying to find it, but I can't immediately. I'll find it for you. My understanding, at least, of the law is the regulations, the SAPS regulations, permit you, by you I mean the Metropolitan Police Department, to continue with a pursuit that originates in your jurisdiction, even if it goes beyond the borders. You are permitted to pursue that suspect until the suspect is arrested. Is my understanding correct? And that's stipulated in the regulation. I'll give you the specific regulation tomorrow morning. But generally, is that how you understand it?
Yes, Chair.
Yes.
Yes.
So
That's why
now-
I even said in terms of information, that's what it's happening again.
Now, that is what I can call hot pursuit. It starts in Germiston, drives out of Ekurhuleni jurisdiction. The law permits the pursuit to continue, even into the next jurisdiction with or without agreement. So it's a specific permission to continue with that pursuit until its objective is met.
Yeah.
I'm saying that to say I agree with you on that.
Yes, but there are also a lot of gray areas, Chair. For
Before we
example-
get to gray areas, can I get to my question?
Okay.
Thank you. So at least the one regarding pursuit, you and I are in agreement. Again, I go back to the question that Commissioner Khumalo, I think, posed. If you get information while you are in your office in Germiston that a suspect who you believe committed a crime in Ekurhuleni is in Soweto, or there's a suspect in Soweto who committed a crime, let's say in Sandton, do you have the authority to go seek and arrest that suspect without the prior engagement and approval by JMPD? And your response to that was yes.
No.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood.
Commissioner Khumalo said you may move from here not from Soweto to Sandton, not within the jurisdiction of Johannesburg, but from here you may do that to Soweto. If the information leads you to Soweto, Soweto leads you to Randburg, but started from here, the information was got from here, you see.
So you are
But
saying,
yes, but I'm saying when members are around there doing other operation and they find something there, they may execute and arrest. They can't say, we are Metro Police officers, we are here to execute other things, but there's a crime that is happening because we're in Soweto, it's happening in Soweto. We will run away and leave it. It doesn't happen like that. They must execute because members of public,
Okay.
they see police, they don't see EMPD, JMPD. You see?
Let's forget about hot pursuit. What I think Ms. Silo wants to understand, which is what I think Commissioner Khumalo wanted to understand, and which is what I want to understand. You are sitting
Sorry, Chair.
You are sitting in your office in Ekurhuleni,
Yes.
and you get information about the commission of a crime and that the alleged culprit is in Soweto. Would you move from Ekurhuleni to Soweto to go and effect an arrest?
Members, they may communicate with members of JMPD or they go to that police station, say, or work with SAPS to assist them. It becomes easier, but it's happening, they go and arrest.
So Ekurhuleni police or EMPD members would not or rather on their own, without being assisted by, after a request by members of the JMPD, simply go to Soweto.
As I've said earlier on, Chair, it's happening. You see, it's happening.
It may be happening, but it's something else whether it's lawful, and what we are trying to establish is what is lawful.
Yes.
Would EMPD members lawfully move from Ekurhuleni? And remember, this is not hot pursuit. Move from Ekurhuleni to Soweto and perform whatever functions they think they are entitled to perform.
I think for now, there's no law that has challenged us. As I've said that before I joined, before I
Is
was-
it lawful? I'm not asking whether
I-
you've been challenged. Is it lawful?
Yes, in the court of law, they've accepted those dockets, they've sentenced those suspects, you see. And in our minds, or in their minds, it's like that, no, it's lawful, it has been happening, and you see. And I must say, it's many cases where the executor, I submitted an evidence of some of those cases that it has been happening. Before I even become a commander, we've been doing that. And to my understanding, with this current memorandum of understanding, it has even allowed that members must work, because we'll see them saying, hey, we are moving. But another thing is that on what Commissioner Kumalo is saying, it's very important to report to an OP entry, go to a police station and whatnot, so that it will limit the litigations where there will be litigations. Let me say so.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Sir.
No, thank you for the responses, Commissioner Mkwanazi. And your responses, I think, will help me at least understand or wrap my mind around a case involving EMPD members outside the jurisdiction of Ekurhuleni. So I needed to understand the legal basis of operating outside your jurisdiction, and I think you have given us your understanding.
Yes.
Now, is there anything else you would like to say about operations outside the city? Because I would propose that we then move to your paragraph 5.
Let's go back to the same page. So
Sir,
I'll
the
check.
paragraph we're dealing with is your statement, page 4 on to page 5. And we have just dealt with the annexures that you introduced there, which you have as 19 Roman 1 and Roman 2, but we have agreed to amend that to read 18.1 and 18 Roman 2 at page 5. Do you see
Page
that?
5.
We have just dealt with those agreements.
Yes.
Okay. So my question was, is there anything else you want to say about that subject before we move to your paragraph 5?
Oh, I also talked about our visit as the managers, that we usually visit such operations, whether it is within or you go and check when members are there, because we are, for example, directors are operational. In fact, Metropolis or policing, it's an operational, you see. Operational managers or operational commanders must visit members operationally, you see, in terms of operation, give support, work with them, even though you want to work with them for 10, 11, 8 hours. But that visit boosts the morale and say, our leaders or our commanders are there. That's one of the things that I've touched on here. Thank you.
Thank you. So then that would lead us to your paragraph 5 at page 5, and that paragraph is headed, team deployed to the suspects who were defrauding members of the public with fake stones. Do you see where I am?
Number 5, yes.
Yes. Would you like to briefly deal with then the contents of that paragraph?
Team deployed to the suspect who were defrauding members of public with fake stones. On the 8th of February, we had a joint operation with Province and JMB, as we always do. We tasked members of truck hijacking task team unit, or trust team, let me say, to join other teams as per request from Deputy Chief of the province to attend with them, since it was affecting our area in Johannesburg, and those members who were selling fake stones on social media platform publicly, members are being defrauded, or members of public are being defrauded.
Yeah. Before you go to the next paragraph, you just say the 8th of February, do you recall the year? You haven't indicated the year.
Can I skip? I'll check the year.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
We'll revert. At line 4, you say, we tasked members of the truck hijacking task team to join the other teams as per the request of Deputy Chief Inspector Gerald Maseko.
Yes.
Who's Gerald Maseko and with which?
He's the late, he was working at Province.
He's what?
He was working at Province.
What does that mean? Working at province where, in the health department?
No,
Where?
Gauteng Traffic Department.
This is Gauteng Traffic Department.
Yes.
And you say he's late?
Yes, he's late, Chair. He's late.
Oh,
That's
he-
why I jumped the name, because
Okay. So, and, you'll come back with the, thank you, you may proceed.
When you say to join the other teams, what other teams?
no, it was his team and some members of JMPD, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly.
Okay? Thank you, Chair.
During the day, we visited to check on their progress. As the senior members confirmed the whereabouts in Johannesburg, where we found them and we communicated with Officer Mackenzie, who confirmed that they were still busy with the suspect. They were still busy with the suspect interrogating, also reported to the police station. Well, they also reported to the police station. We left them as they were still busy, and I was rushing for another meeting or to another meeting after engagement in our area.
Before
But
you
brief-
get to the
yes.
next sub-paragraph, you say and I think you've done this from your previous sub-paragraph. You say, we tasked members. You see that at your first sub-paragraph? And you say, during the day, we visited members. Then, third line of page 6, you say, members confirmed their whereabouts in Johannesburg where we found them.
Yes.
Now, you consistently refer to the we. Who's we?
As I've said that I was with him.
Oh, by we you mean yourself
Yes.
and
Yes.
Deputy Chief
Yes,
Inspector
yes.
Maseko?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Before you move on, so the we, I thought it was you in the plural, but we here is with Maseko.
Yes.
So when you say we tasked members of the truck hijacking task team, what team is that?
It's the team that was working on that. There's a team that we formed.
Is it an EMPD team?
Yes.
Is it a Gauteng?
No. This one that I tasked, it is EMPD. That was work with the other team.
Okay, so you and Inspector Maseko, you tasked
No,
the
let-
EMPD truck hijacking?
Or let me correct it. We as plural, yeah, I'm saying I.
Okay.
We, no, you're correct.
That
Thank you.
clarifies it. Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks, Commissioner Baloyi. Now, you say at page 6, we found them and communicated with Officer Mackenzie, who confirmed that they were still busy. My first question, who's Officer Mackenzie?
He's an EMPD officer working at hijacking task team unit.
So he's one of the people you personally had deployed?
Yes, from EMPD.
Okay. You say you found them. Who's the them?
No, I spoke with him. He said there are some members are inside.
Now, who did you deploy to this?
From EMPD, it was Officer Mackenzie, Officer Kesha. I think it was the two of them.
Keisha Stolz.
Yes.
And Mackenzie would be Eddie and Mackenzie.
Yes, Chair. I think there were two on that day. Yes, in that operation.
And is there, because you sound a bit hesitant, what record could we possibly have regard to determine who exactly you deployed in the operation? What record of EMPD would you say we should turn to?
They also submitted statement to confirm that there were two.
No, I'm asking about the deployment. You deployed them, remember?
Yes, in their books, they will have
So you
information.
write in their books that you are deploying them, or?
No, remember, I've said in that time we didn't have OP books and everything, but on daily basis. Officer, in fact, there was an inspector who's called Officer Schulz, but he decided to retire during that time because of personnel. They were not having an operational commander. Then Officer Stolz took over to become an acting supervisor. She was recording each and every information of the team, all document in detail. Sometimes I will check, hey, can I check your things? I do surprise visit to different teams. Then I will find the book that she recorded all the things, the activities of the day, the activities of a week. You will find it in her book. As I've said that we didn't have OP book, but she was recording each and everything.
Commissioner Mkhwanazi, hence my earlier question to you, because the request is made to you. The request is made to you by Gerald Maseko, Chief Inspector, Deputy Chief Inspector, and then you deploy Mackenzie and Stolz. Where do you record, A, the request made to you, and B, your decision to deploy these two people? Because we are concerned not about what they recorded, but what you recorded.
Yeah. I deployed them telephonically, Chair. I didn't record anywhere. I
So
phoned.
you don't have a diary or an entry in writing where details of Chief
I-
Inspector Maseko, the nature of the operation, how many people are required from your team, who you've decided to deploy. You don't have a written record of that.
I had diaries where I record everything, Chair. Can I go and check? But I've changed offices many times. But I had diaries where I will record, if I visit, I will record, or meetings. In my diary, I will write everything. You see.
And I think we can agree that, and I'm reading Mr. Magagula's statement, that it was 2023.
I just wanted the witness to confirm before he says we imposed the year of 23 on him.
Can you confirm that this operation was in 2023 February?
Yes, I
You
think you're
don't have
correct.
to be exact as far as the
Yeah.
date is
No,
concerned.
yes, Chair. Yes, Chair.
So on the basis of your response to Commissioner Kumalo's clarification questions, there is no independent record that is owned by EMPD and retained by EMPD regarding this particular deployment. None exists, so there is no point in us going to ask for it.
There will
Because
be-
it's either in your diary or in Stolz's notebook.
Yes, but there will be monthly report, monthly feedback of different units. From my office, we'll get it as a monthly report from different, but there will be a record from Stolz, and there will be, if I record it, it will be on mine. But I'm definitely sure Stolz was recording each and everything.
Yeah, no, my question was just, if, God forbid, you and Stolz were to be struck by lightning tomorrow, there is no other independent source that can help us understand the deployment. So there is no document within EMPD that we can turn to. That shows that you, Commissioner Mkhwanazi, on this particular day, 8th of February, or it might have been before, maybe the execution is the 8th of February, whatever date, that you tasked specific persons to go execute a particular mandate. There is nothing we can search for within EMPD to tell us that, absent your personal diary and Stolz's notebook.
Now, let's check our weekly or monthly report. I think we may find something. Because all the units reports, or from my office, I will get it monthly. But from other people, they will report it weekly. Maybe we may come up with something. But I know that definitely show it Stolz, because she even reported it that it was submitted to Commissioner Rivers, demanded all the documents and took all the documents. I think we'll find it there.
So just as a last point, so these weekly or monthly reports are not by you, they are to you. They are made to you, not by you.
No, to me. They are made, yes, to me.
So then I go back to my question. You did not record anywhere outside your diary within records that are owned specifically by EMPD that you task these members. You don't have, there is no such.
That's why I'm saying, I can't remember, Chair. That's why I'm saying, let's check the stats. Maybe in part of the stats it will be recorded. but definitely sure. With the
Okay,
one-off
if you
stalls, we'll
don't,
get it.
can you just then give us some guideline? Where do we search for it?
It was
Where do we
20,
where do we start the search?
it was 2023, ne?
No, where? When we go
No,
to
no, I'm
PMPD?
thinking, I've changed many offices, I'm thinking who will be the correct person. I think offices of specialized services, the admin of
And then we ask them to look at what?
weekly diaries or monthly feedback of that month.
So we're back to
Yes.
diaries. So outside
Not diaries,
diaries.
let me say feedback. There's a format of feedback that I submitted, that where all the units, all the people are submitting. Can you check on that, Chair? I think it will assist us. Because I may not recall exactly, you see, but I know that even changing offices, but some of the document will be there.
This feedback is submitted to who? Is it to a meeting? Is it to your superior?
Yes,
Where
we
do we-
submit it to monthly. They submit to, like me as a director. I will get all the feedback, you see, from the unit.
Yes.
They need to come to me. From me, I will take it. Or from seniors, we select the highlights. But it will be recorded. We will take it to the seniors up until the last office.
So
which is the
you would
office
have
of the
taken,
chief of
so
police.
you would have taken it where? So your Stolz and Mackenzie give you a report?
I was suspended that month, but I think the office will have taken
The month of
it.
the operation?
February, yes, I was suspended around February. You see, I couldn't consolidate.
So
whilst I was
you did not submit?
No. The ladies may have consolidated it.
The ladies in
The officers, yes, no, because they will consolidate for all the units. All the information that is submitted, they will consolidate and send it to me or send it to the person who's in charge. By that time, the person, immediately when I suspended, there was another acting director in the specialized services.
Yeah, but if you were suspended before you submitted, then the acting person, if you don't have a record of your own, the acting person would not have a report from you because you don't submit, you don't prepare a report from this operation.
No, remember, Commissioner, the report is not for me. It's submitted to my office.
By
It's for the
Stolz,
city.
by Stolz and
By-
Mackenzie.
Yes, no, it will be by stores, but for all the units, they submit to one central office. Then there it was, the acting supervisor was stores for all the operations that have been taking place since the resignation, or yes, it was a resignation of the unit commander. Then stores took over to record everything.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. We are still at page 6. You then conclude with the second paragraph at page 6 on this topic. Is it stopped working?
It's out again. There's a guy who was assisting me, sorry, Chair.
He'll be with you in a minute. He's coming.
Yes, my ears are too small and this thing is big, they keep on. Sorry, Chair, when I'm sweating, it moves because my ears are too small.
Well, maybe the solution is to stop sweating. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, I
Okay.
can hear you.
I'd referred us to your page 6 of your supplementary statement. And I was making the point that under discussion, you conclude with a second paragraph at page 6, so if you could just quickly read that.
This is very touching on me. Paragraph 6, on the issue of kidnapping.
What is touching?
Before you do paragraph 6, issue of kidnapping, let me just get this. If you go back to page 5, I didn't realize that you finished with that paragraph. JMPD in the second line that you referred to, and there's also province. Maseko belonged to what? To JMPD?
No, not to province.
And who represented JMPD in your team?
I didn't meet with them, but operational, they met with them. I only communicated with one, with Maseko, yes.
So you had no, even though you had assigned people here, you had no dealings with JMPD,
Yeah,
you as the head?
Yes, but they've confirmed that they worked with them.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you.
So this was a traffic police operation? Because you said Maseko is from the provincial traffic police.
We were part, Chair, I can't,
Whose operation was it?
he's the one that came with, and they communicated with JMPD. All of us were part of that operation, Chair. I can't say it was him.
So who was in charge?
It was me and him. It
So
was me
you
and
were
him.
in charge of this operation?
Yes, it was me and him.
And you have no record of it because there are no annexures relating, you have annexures for everything
Oh.
else except for this operation.
Or Chair, in the statements, in the previous main statement, the members, I was able to get two statements from them where they've mentioned that all the recorded details and
But
everything.
they mention after the event. I'm talking about before and during the event. There is no annexure
No.
setting out the nature of the operation, who's in charge of it, who's the complainant, why you are involved, who you are deploying, what happens after the deployment, what did you confiscate, what did you do with that? There's no record of that.
No, in their statement, it
No,
touches.
not in their statements. I thought we agreed that you asked them to prepare statements. So after the event, they prepared statements. But in the ordinary course of policing operations, because they are not witnesses, they don't do statements. They record what they were tasked to do and what they did and how the operation ended. So there's no record of that.
May I respond, Chair? In their statement, they've said they recorded everything. All their documents were taken by Commissioner Revo Spies, I think even IP2, that's what they've said, that they recorded everything, you see. Not to say they were responding to me, but they mentioned everything, that no, all the documents and everything, where they were recorded everything.
I find it strange that you were in charge of the operation, but you yourself don't have any record.
You know, Chair, the operation that you run it from when it starts, let me say before, during, and after, where you keep everything, but where you come and check and go, that's where I'm having challenges, you see. But now I see that each and every hour, and I must go back to become an operational officer and have my own OP book or pocket book that I record everything, not to depend on others.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just ask, sorry, Mr.
Yes, Commissioner Malloy.
The Gauteng Traffic Department, what is their mandate? Are they involved in law enforcement
Yes,
as a body?
Yes, Chair, now they are. They've assisted
Now,
us.
at the time of this operation?
Yes, they are. In fact, Chair, we have worked with them in many operations, especially in crimes. Remember, some of the crime, some of the infrastructure belongs to the province. You see, they've established the teams that are responsible for your infrastructure, cable theft, damage of cities' infrastructure, and other crimes. Truck hijack, let me say, they've got all the teams that we're having, in short. You see, they are responding to all the crimes that are affecting the province.
do
Yes.
exactly the same work that the South African Police Service does.
And what we're doing, yes. And they've assisted the lost chair because they've got, some members have got information, have responded and reacted on that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. We were still at your page 6. No, we hadn't started on the next topic of the issue of kidnapping. I had invited you to deal with your last paragraph on the topic of the fake stones. The third is the second paragraph on your page 6 that starts with the words, but the briefing.
I think I've covered it, or must I repeat it?
Please repeat it, because if
Yes.
you did, I missed it.
But the briefing I got in the afternoon was that all paperwork was then handed over to the other team members. And I was told that all the other documents were taken by Commissioner Rivers Peace and Erasmus when I was suspended. The same month they were arrested for
Okay.
something else.
Now here, you indicate that you got a briefing in the afternoon. I take it it's in the afternoon of the same date?
Yes, I called
Okay.
them the afternoon of the same date.
So on the afternoon of the 8th, the day of the operation, the paperwork was handed to the other team members.
Everything was handed to the other team members because they did paperwork.
Yes.
Yes, even
Now-
though I'm not sure what type of paperwork because I didn't have an opportunity to check. You see, as Commissioner Kumalo was saying, recording and other things, you see.
So you wouldn't know, they briefed you that all paperwork was handed over to the other team members? And are you saying that you don't know what paperwork they were talking about?
No. In the report that I will get, monthly, they will be specifying it, but I wouldn't know.
No, in the briefing, I want to know what you
No,
were
no, no.
informed as to paperwork in the briefing.
No, I wouldn't know.
So based on operations of this nature, would you have a sense of what those documents ought to be?
I
The
think
paperwork.
I think it's the recording of what they got there and maybe the evidence that they got or whatever that they got there. It's not only paperwork. Yeah, it's just that I limited it to paperwork. I must correct it. Everything that they got, they said they handed it, not only paperwork. May I correct that, Chair?
Okay, so you say the briefing you got then that afternoon was that all paperwork you want to add and evidence?
Yes, let me not limit it to paperwork. Yeah, I just was typing. It's my mistake.
Okay, that's fine. I'm sure that the commissioners won't have a challenge. So we know by the conclusion of that operation, they had paperwork and then they had the evidence.
Yes.
And they briefed you that these were handed over to the other team members. Who are these other team members?
I didn't ask because I know that they were working with other team members. But I know that in their recording, they recorded it. Because in her statement, when I said, Kesha, there's this thing that is coming. He said, no, man, don't worry, I recorded everything. Even where I handed it, I recorded. I said, no, I'm sorted, it's fine.
So at the time they briefed you, you didn't know who the other team members were?
Yes, when I came back, she was no longer there now.
Come again?
I'm saying when I came back, she was no longer
No, I'm
there.
still on the day of the briefing. At that
Yeah,
point,
no, the
you
briefing
didn't
wa-
know who the,
No, the debriefing was telephonically.
oh,
Yes, it was telephonically.
okay. Then you just accepted that the paperwork and the evidence was given to these other team members that you don't know.
Yes.
Who are the other team members?
I know.
This is your operation for
Yes.
EMPD, so you must surely know the team that you have involved in this operation. You've mentioned Stoltz and Mackenzie. You've mentioned those two. The briefing you get from Stoltz or Mackenzie that same afternoon of the operation is that the paperwork has been given to other team members. So you should be able to say who are the other team members that were involved.
You are correct, Chair. Remember, I don't know other juniors from other teams because I didn't have one briefing with them. I didn't meet them physically. You see, I don't know them, Chair, because it's juniors that belong to other people. They are not in my command, you see.
So But ought the paperwork and the evidence not have been then handed over to Deputy Chief Inspector Gerald Maseko,
No,
who was the initiator of this entire operation?
no, Kesha wrote in her statement, she even wrote everything. You see, not in her statement, even she said in that OP, she recorded everything, or that book that she was using, she recorded everything. You see,
No, I'm asking you as Commissioner Mkhwanazi, you have a joint operation, you say, with Gauteng Traffic Department, and I think you mentioned another entity,
GMPD, yes.
JMPD.
Yes.
So it's a, and you said, and I think to Commissioner Baloi's question, you indicated that Deputy Chief Inspector Gerald Maseko was responsible, together with you, for the operation.
Yes.
You are briefed that same afternoon, and you know that there is paperwork, you know there is evidence, you have asked that we add, and paperwork and evidence. Was the paperwork and the evidence not, would that not properly have been handed over to yourself? And/or Deputy Chief Inspector Maseko as the people who led this team?
No,
Is that not how it happens?
no,
in-
it will be the feedback, but the paperwork, when I was not there, it was not headed, because I was not there when they finalized an
I'm
operation.
trying to understand how it happens in your environment.
Uh,
You are in charge, the paperwork and evidence is handed over, but it's not handed over to you.
Yes.
It's handed over to somebody, and you don't get to know who that somebody is. Is that
No,
basically a sense of how operations?
No, they
work?
wrote in the statement, Commissioner. You see, I was not there physically, I attended some commitment to another meeting, I was not there with them, you see.
No, I'm more interested in the briefing. You got a briefing. You
Telephonical
You didn't inquire. I accept that, right?
And I've said it's a telephonical briefing. I
And
called, they
even the-
briefed me, yes.
You had a voice over the telephone, you didn't inquire. Okay, now you say, you go further and you say, I was told that all other documentation were taken by Rivers Peace and Henny Erasmus when I was suspended. Just a clarification, all other documentation taken by Rivers Peace, is this the same paperwork that was handed to the other team members? Or is it different document? I'm trying to see if I should differentiate between.
Yes, they said all their diaries for
Okay.
everything that they recorded, all the paperwork for other operation that we're having as a team, everything was taken from them. When they were suspended, they took everything. By that time, I was not there. They took everything. They were suspended after me, you see, for other duties and for other operations. Then they took everything. In fact, in their statement, in their affidavit,
Yes.
they wrote everything, that it was this and that and that and that.
But just to make sure I understand, the documentation here, taken by Rivers Peace and Henny Erasmus, is not the same paperwork that was handed over to the other task team members. It's not about this particular operation.
But they could have recorded, they recorded all those things that are there. That's what they told me. They submitted, but on their side, they had information and everything there.
The passive voice here, as opposed to the active voice, confuses me. One is forced to just assume who you are referring to right at the end of the sentence, after closing brackets, after 2023, comma, then the same month they were arrested. You open with a passive voice, you got a briefing, and you also close with the passive voice. Now, I do not know who were arrested, but I assume it's a reference to Keisha Stores and Adrian Mackenzie.
It's 3 officers. It's
Yes.
Keisha Stores, Andrew Mackenzie. I forgot the other name because he's a constable. But the 3 of them were arrested for Benoni case, something like that. Yes.
It's not that important, but it's just that the same month they were arrested. You say that after referring to Rivers Peace and Henny Erasmus, and I know you are not suggesting that it's those 2 people that were arrested.
No,
But
I'm-
as I say, grammatically, this is a bit confusing, especially because of the passive voice.
I know you always say that, Chair, humble apologies. You don't want to say the thing and what I want us to be specific, Chair.
Thank you.
That's what I've learned from you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Mkonas, can you just clarify the first paragraph on page 6? You say in the second line, second sentence, members confirm their whereabouts in Johannesburg, where we found them and communicated with Officer Mackenzie. So did you yourself go to the scene of this incident?
Yes, Chair, I called, they told me, let me listen to you first.
So
just
you
to
were
check
there?
it. Yes, I went there, I drove
Yes,
in.
and who did you find there?
Officer Mackenzie.
And the other teams that you are referring to, did you
Where?
see any other teams or just Mackenzie and
No,
Stolz?
somewhere inside. No, I didn't even see stalls. Somewhere
did you
inside.
see?
Mackenzie. I
And
communicate,
you
Mackenzie
only
came
saw
out.
Mackenzie?
Yes, Mackenzie came out.
So
and
you don't even
communicated.
know that JMPD was inside and you don't know that the Joburg or Gauteng Traffic Department was inside? Because you did not see them, you only saw Mackenzie.
Yes, I only saw Mackenzie.
So you don't know that there was another team other than the people you sent there?
No, in their statement, they mentioned that they were there.
Who was there?
The other team
Who-
members.
Who did they say was there?
Or they didn't specify in terms of the name.
No, I thought you said in their statement, they said the other team was
No,
there.
I'm saying me, I don't know them. But they mentioned, when you check the statement that is submitted to the commission, that is submitted, I think they submitted to IP, they specify, they mention.
My understanding is that other than Mackenzie and Stolz, there was one other person there. Now, one person cannot constitute a team, according to my understanding of what a team is. So
Yes, correct.
if it was Mackenzie and Stolz and one other person, there couldn't have been other teams there because it's your team and one other person.
But Chair, in their statement, they mentioned that they were there, they handed over to them. I was not there. I can't say you are lying. You see, I can't say I can't take it.
And then when
see,
you
They will
say,
prove it, yes.
when you say where we found them there, who is we?
I've said I was driving with, one officer was driving me and from EMPT, and officer, and senior, or the deputy director.
Who is that was driving with you?
I will tell you his name. I will remember his name now.
But it was not somebody from JMPD
No, no,
or
no.
Gauteng
No,
Traffic
no, no.
Department?
It's a person who drives me sometimes.
It was your team member?
Yes, EMPT, yes. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Then where was Maseko and the other person who's in
we-
charge of the operation?
No, we
Did you
drove.
see him that day when you went to the
No,
address?
we drove in one car when we went there.
No.
Then,
I asked you who was in the car. You said it was your team member.
no, I've been saying it. It's just, I've been saying it that when we arrived there, even in my statement, it says so. It was me, Masego, and the guy that was driving me.
In one car?
Yes, we were three. It was the three of us in one car. Yes. And it was an EMPT car. He drove us with the EMPT car.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner. And on that score then, who did you say was the person responsible for JMPD in this operation? We know you were EMPD. Director Maseko was Gauteng Traffic Department. Who was responsible for JMPD?
I've said I didn't communicate with anyone from EMPT from my side.
Sorry, say that again?
From my side, I didn't communicate with anyone from JMPT.
No, I appreciate that, but do
Yes.
you know who was responsible for the JMPD
No,
side?
No, I don't. I was going to mention him or her. Yeah.
So I take it, I understand then you say on the afternoon where you got the briefing, all paperwork is paperwork generated by Stolz and Mackenzie during the operation.
Let me say Stolz, because I
Stolz,
know Stolz,
okay.
she records everything. She's a good administrator.
Okay. And you
Yes.
recall that when we were dealing with that MOU, we said these requests for assistance are in writing. Where do we find the requests? From either Gauteng Traffic Department and/or JMPD to you requesting assistance in this regard?
No, there was no formal request. It was the issue of the morning and say, this is an operation, these people are operating, can we go and hit very fast? Then you allowed.
Oh, so earlier you had said that you always do these request in writing. This particular operation does not have a written request.
Yes, remember the memorandum of understanding was even talking about days. Here it was not an issue of a day, it was the issue of hours.
Yes, that memorandum said if it's an emergency, was this an emergency?
Yes, because they were robbing people and were told they were moving, then they went in.
Okay. And
Yes.
that memorandum goes further, that particular clause 7.2.7 stipulates that if it's an emergency, the request will be oral, but will be confirmed within 3 days in writing.
That's why I'm saying that the report will talk to that in terms of the report of,
No, I'm asking, not the report. The report is by stores.
no, we don't have.
So there was never a
There was
request
never, yes,
in
no,
in
there was
writing?
never, yes.
Okay, notwithstanding that, you've always understood that to be the
Yes.
requirement.
No, there was no.
Okay, then I think your final topic is the issue of kidnapping. Would you like to deal with that?
Chair, I would like to deny and say, I don't plan to do any kidnapping. I'm a police officer, I can't do that, especially to my colleague, to my junior, you see, in the EMPD. Everything that they came or she came and testified about me kidnapping at night, it's not true. Why I'm saying that, there was a report that I got from EMPD as a director, was a director at that time. No, she said now. You see, I don't remember when is that, but there's a report that I got now that she was involved in kidnapping. Well, now as a deputy chief of police. She said it's a recent thing. Now as a deputy chief of policing, she was kidnapped. I got a report from the director of specialized services. He got it from the deputy director of specialized services because Chief Subtipa, she's deployed at Oliver Regional Tambo Airport. When she was working there, that's when she came up with the story that she was kidnapped and what, I don't want to say a story. She was kidnapped. I got a report after a day or two, you see, that there's this report of kidnapping. She was kidnapped by someone, or people kidnapped her, they wanted to do, they fought with those people, you see. It means that they saw those people, she fought with them, she disarmed them, even though here she said it was a firearm, she was also between a firearm and a knife, you see. I had nothing to do that. Why I'm saying that, there's at no stage that Colonel Tipa or Chief Superintendent that came to me and say, the allegations of blue light against you, there's this, that against you. You see, she has never reported to me direct. She was reporting to other people. I never interacted, except when the social ward or else we are meeting somewhere. Hello, Ndona is joking. We say 1, 2, or 3 things. You see, all other things. As I'm saying that, she has been reporting all other seniors for serious allegations at EMPD. And we're able to trace and track that through evidence that has been submitted that all her allegations are not true. Other colleagues will write statements and say, no, we're there. The issue of sexual harassment against this senior male colleague is not true. It was because she doesn't want to comply. I had many reports, as I've mentioned in the statement, that where members have been complaining, and I was not directly dealing with her because she's having 2 commanders or 2 seniors before me. You see, that she report direct, and before I had other people complaining about bullying and all other things, want to charge at people, physically charge at people or beat juniors, calling them in social media, all with all these names. I won't mention the names, Chair. You see, but all those things, you see, how, and she even mentioned one of the mother of my child, that she was part, even came in the morning to go and check that is she still alive, of which is not true, Chairperson. You see, she came here and cried, but I'm saying those tears were not true tears, Chairperson, because she knows very well that I'm not capable of doing that. You see, I'm the person who believes in engagements, Chair. I don't even believe in parades. I believe in a meeting. That is why sometimes you find me differing with my senior. I say, no, this is, let's sit down in a meeting and engage. If I'm defeated, I will take that and say, It's my position. That's how I grew up. They say if you are defeated in the meeting, we take that idea of a person who won and make sure that it's yours, and make sure that I defend it. Well, my members will tell you that, but Nduna, when you came before, you were saying this. And say, but I'm from the meeting. In the meeting, they gave me reasons, and I agree with them. Now it is my position, and this is what we are going to do, you see. I strongly deny these allegations. And there are cases that have been opened. In those cases, my name is not mentioned. I don't know why she came here and mentioned my name. Because in those cases, you can go, I even requested the commission, go and check those dockets that have been opened. There are many dockets that have been opened against by sinners at EMPT. I decided not to do that after the commission said, no, I'm not going to grow, I'm not going to benefit anything out of this. Chair, in summary, I'm saying, you can check all I even submitted. Currently, she's attending other disciplinary hearing within the city of Ekurhuleni for all these allegations and everything. Mine, I didn't even want to forward it, you see, Chairperson. But my character has been assassinated. My character has been badly dealt with, you see. You know, when my kids open social media, they see, hey, you are a kidnapper. I'm not against. I will tell you, Chairperson, I believe in non-racist, non-racial, prosperous South Africa. I was very clear in terms of promotion that, guys, we need to balance. This thing of policing being dominated by males, by us, must come to an end. Everything must balance when we're addressing these issues. Gender-based promotion, and I'm one of those who support programs of women. At EMPT, excuse me, Chair, at EMPT, they can tell you, Chair, I'm very vocal when it comes to those issues, you see. I can't wake up one day thinking a person hasn't even done anything to me. Even those that have came to me, you see. When Commissioner Revo Spies was sitting, we were sitting in a council with Commissioner Revo Spies, with Commissioner Deputy Chief Babu Mzolo. When he came and said, hey, did you say this thing of blue light and what Mzola said, Commissioner Mzola said, no. Talk to him correctly, because he was talking to me about these things. He was not even fighting. There's no need for me to fight with Commissioner Revo Spies. You see, that's why I've even said in this commission that it's a process of the council. I'm not bitter, I'm not angry because of this. I have to account if I need to account for the decision. I even said I take ownership of talking to Vusi, talking to Mr. Mike van Veek, and bringing them to the seat if they were brought. I even said that when Commissioner Balo showed me some many red tapes on the decision that I took, I said, I took ownership of that. I take that responsibility. But thinking of kidnapping, of course, Chair, I strongly deny that. That's what I won't do in my life. Even if when I'm dead, I won't be a skeleton that comes and kidnaps us, because it's not within me. It is not within me. I grew up in the student movement, understanding gender-based issues, understanding non-sexist policies, and the Constitution is very clear on that. You see, if I have to engage, if I want to complain, I must write a formal complaint to the council and say, I think she's dealing with me, but she hasn't even come to me, Chair. I don't even own the vehicle where she claims that she went, or they tested in Natis and got my name and find that I own that vehicle. They've got a proof to it. And I've said, let them submit. I don't even have that car. That let them I have it, Chair.
Thank you.
By skeleton, I assume, I waited for you to finish. By skeleton, I assume you mean Ispogo.
A spook. I won't even do it, Chair, even if I can become a spook. You see, because it's not within me. As I'm at this age, Chair, my kids will tell you, our father is not even in a single day lay a hand on us.
All right.
I don't believe in noise. I believe in sitting down. Hey, this is wrong. You are going to face many things if you do like this and that. Yes, I'm a man who doesn't believe in violence. I believe in engagement. That's how I grew up. So let's engage.
Thank you.
Thank you,
yes,
Chair.
so-
Before we leave this topic, then just if the commissioners could note, and please confirm for me, at the bottom of page 6 of your statement, after the words in parentheses, sexual harassment, do you see where I am? You then note annexure pages 204E to 204S.
Sorry, it's the last page.
No, page 6 of your statement,
Yes, yes, yes.
last
Oh,
sentence.
yes, yes, yes.
You
I'm
see
with
where
you.
it reads sexual harassment,
Yes.
then you say, it's followed by the words annexure pages 24E to 204S. Do you see that?
Yes.
Please, I've just checked the file. You do confirm that is, that's annexure JD 12? Your original annexure that you had provided with your statement?
It's
She'll
not here.
she'll
Or the
locate
original.
JD 12. I just want to confirm that those pages refer to that particular annexure. E to 204E to S. It's those documents and following that you say concern the sexual harassment claims.
Chair, it's supposed to be one of them.
No, it goes from 204E to 204S,
Yes, yes, yes.
so that's
Yes,
correct.
yes,
All right.
yes.
If we do the same quick exercise, the first paragraph on page 7 concludes with the wording, she always got protection from Chief of Police, Mr. Isaac Mapieye, before Madanga Commission. What do you mean by that?
Yes, Chair.
You say she always got protection, she, I take it, is Ms. Tepa,
Yes,
got
Chair.
protection from the Chief of Police, Mr. Isaac Mapieye, before Madanga Commission.
Yes, Chair, you'll see in one of the annexures, there are many complaints by, or I can see, there are many complaints by her juniors. I'm not talking about the seniors now, about her juniors. There are many grievances, formal grievances. I've attached those letters against them, and there were no formal sitting. There was no any attempt to attend, where she would promise them, I will physically beat you, and calling them the names that I can't call in this commission.
Yes.
They've wrote and submitted social media things that I've attached to prove that. I'm not talking about I'm not creating a character.
No, if I may just clarify.
Yes, it is them.
It is the before Madanga Commission that I was interested in, because you say she always got protection from Chief Mapieye.
Yes.
And I assume that to be in the workplace.
Yes, yes,
But
Chair.
then you say before Madanga Commission, are you saying
No.
as testified by Mapieye, I don't know, or by herself?
Or before she testified at Madlanga Commission,
Okay.
internal within the MPD
Okay.
and the city of Ekurhuleni.
So the
There
protection
have
wise
been-
is in the workspace?
Yes.
All right. And then you, thanks for that correction. You then reference annexure pages 163C to 163O, same file. On my record, that would be JD 10, 163C. Please stay with him, I'm going to
Wait.
direct.
Yes.
So
Yes, madam.
the
Oh, yes, Chair.
commissioners should read reference to annexure pages 163 capital C and 163O as part of JD 10.
Yes, Chair.
Okay. In the last paragraph, you do the same, the last sentence reads, attached is a statement from Deputy Director and Klapo's report to the department, annexure pages 163A, 163B. So if you go 2 pages back of JD 10, that's the only document I find signed by GB Klapo, Deputy Director, Special Services. Is that the
Yes, Chair.
document?
Yes, Chair, to the Director of Specialized Unit.
Yes,
Yes.
to D-Sing. So once again, that is JD 10, correct? Is
Yes,
that
yes,
annexure JD 10?
Yes, Chair.
All right.
So against 163C to 163O, we should say part of JD10.
It's,
And
both are
then-
part of-
And then again, 163A, 163B, part of JD10.
Indeed. And the page numbering there refers to the actual page number within the annexure itself.
Thank you, thank
I
you.
just wanted to clarify that.
Thanks for that
Yes,
clarification.
yes, Chair.
Then that would bring us to the end of your supplementary statement, unless you have anything else you'd like to highlight. That would be the conclusion of your supplementary statement.
Yes, Chair. I'm not sure. There was one, but I feel that I must say it in record, where it said that there's a unit that reports direct to me, DEU. I couldn't put it here. You see, I must say it in that record. There's a director, as you see here. There's a director of specialized services. All the units, they're not even reporting to him direct. It was said by Mr. Makakula from IPT. You see, let me correct that, Chairperson. You know, and I know that Advocate Silo, you emphasized, you even said, are they reporting to Mkwanazi? It was you emphasized than him. Then he responded, yes, yes. You see, but let me correct it because it was him who said yes. Specialized DEU reports to superintendent, inspectors, the superintendent. There's no, I'm not sure about the chief superintendent because in other units you don't have. Then there's a deputy director, there are deputy directors, there's a director. They don't report to me. Anything that I got from Mr. Makakula, it was telephonic. I referred to him, go and report to the director. And him and the director, they've been talking, and I don't even know the officers. I only know one officer because he stays in the Southern Regional Estate. Other officers, I don't even know them because it's big, EMPT is big. I won't know each and every officer there. I want to state it in record. I feel that's what I even covered, you see, unless the commissioner will say, another supplementary, but I will fight with Madam Silo and say, no, no, no. Because I feel that it is, and it is there in me, that it's dealing with me. You see that everything that is wrong at TMPT is Julius Mkonas. As if I'm the only person who has been commanding from chief, once the chief is there, and what. Yes, I know that you must take responsibility when we are in charge, but if I don't have information, I can't claim. You see, I don't have info. And when they were arrested, not arrested, all the details and case numbers, that with that, he has been attending, they've been talking on daily basis, you see. Or it's just because I'm not boot, because he said he's talking to the chief as boot. It doesn't address me boot, you see. That's why he's throwing everything to me. And he knows that he complains to me as a senior. And I will say, talk to Henny Rasmus, he's leading integrity and standard. Talk to that director. He will refer to the unit commander. He will refer you to this person as the line of code, because I know that in other units you don't have that, you see. But in those that we are having, fortunately in that unit, there's a clear line of command. We have promoted people, you see. I don't even have any information about it.
Can I, just to understand what you're addressing now, DEU is what, Drug Enforcement?
Drug Enforcement Unit, yes.
Does it fall under Operations and Specialized Services?
Yes.
Where you were director before you became deputy chief?
No. When it was formed, I know that I was suspended. But when it was before, it used to fall under me, but there was a unit commander.
No,
the same.
Hold on a bit about the unit commander.
Yes.
I'm more interested in the overall accounting person for that DEU. I'm just trying to understand that.
Yes, Commissioner.
Where did it fall?
Operations and Specialized Services.
And where were you at the time that it was formed and it fell under the Operations and Specialized Services? What was your position?
I'm not sure when is the complaint. That I was but I think I was the deputy chief of police.
Already?
Yes.
When the complaint was lodged?
Yes, when the complaint was lodged, I was the deputy chief of police.
But before you were, while you were still director, this DEU ultimately reported to you?
No. It is the unit that was formed later than other unit. They reported to the person who's promoted a director now. They were reporting to him, not to me.
So they've never reported to you
No.
as a director
Yes, no.
of operations?
Yes, they were formed now. It's the last unit to be formed, I think 2023, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is the last unit to be formed.
When did you become
2020.
When did you become deputy chief?
2023, no, 2023 I became,
December.
yes, 2023 December, yes, you are
December.
correct, yes.
And you say this unit was formed after?
Yes, I think it was from after. I haven't have any authority instructing them, and you see. But I know them when they are having successes, because all the people, all the Metro Police officers that are wearing uniform, they are reporting to Deputy Chief Operations and Specialized. It's your precinct, it's your region.
Which is you?
Yes,
Okay, so in the end, they do report to you as deputy chief?
yes. That's why I don't even deny it when Deputy Director Makakula called me. Then I referred him to the relevant people who will assist in terms of deployment and information and everything.
Okay.
And they've been communicating, exchanging documents. I don't know now when there are lights and cameras, it's changing
No,
everything.
I just wanted to confirm
Yes.
what it is you were speaking to and who this unit referred to. You've answered me, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner.
Ms.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloy. So you have put the matter of the DEU on record. Would you say that concludes your supplementary statement to the commission?
Yes, unless if there's the latest information that I got yesterday, I got on Sunday. You see, I'm not sure that, because it doesn't say I must submit anything in writing.
No.
It say this is a new evidence. You will guide me. You will
Oh,
guide
no,
me.
no, those are, he's referencing the exhibits submitted by us, no. Sorry, a supplementary statement is not necessary for that purpose. I just wanted to know this statement that you submitted, that we have just dealt with, you have added the issue of DEU. Have we covered everything that you wanted to place before the commission through this supplementary statement? Remember, you still have your main statement. Just wanted to understand that you are
Well-
comfortable that we have covered everything that is in the supplementary statement.
I think so. I think so. And
Chair.
I'm covered when you say I'm still having that statement. I'm
Yes,
covered.
Yes. That being the case, then that would conclude Mr. Mkonazi's testimony insofar as his supplementary statement is concerned. We did indicate that we think we have found a solution to avoid any confusion that might arise from accepting the amended statement with its annexures and reading it together with the first statement. The effect is that we will have three, but we will have cross-referenced within the amended statement to avoid the confusion of which annexure is referenced at which point. And that exercise will conclude tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Mr. Lo. There's something that I must address. Some may see it as minor. To me, it is not minor at all. After lunch, we were 5 minutes late. I had said we'd resume at 2:25, and we resumed at 2:30. I was at fault, not my co-commissioners. How I got my wires crossed, I have no idea. Somehow, between the adjournment and the time we started, I thought I had said we start at 2:30. I want to apologize to those present here and to those viewing the proceedings remotely. I apologize most profusely for being 5 minutes late. If I do not tender this apology, I will not in future be able to chastise people who are late. I apologize most profusely. Commissioner Mkwanazi, let's start tomorrow at 9:30. Let us adjourn.
Thank you, Chair.
Stays heavy into that interchange with problems getting into that heavy N3 outbound. Cape Town today, Philip Kosana and Nelson Mandela Boulevards heading out of the city centre, quite heavy towards Hospital Bend. The M3 inbound from UCT backed up towards the Bend area, and the M5 currently standing from Brooklyn off the Kuberg Road all the way down for turning onto the N2 outbound. With your traffic update, I'm Rob Byrne.
This is SAFM Sports with Tumi Nkgabele.
Jimmy, you've got a rugby story to talk about, eh?
Yes, the South African A team will return to action on the 20th of June in Gqeberha, taking on Zimbabwe as a curtain raiser for the Springboks season opening clash against the Barbarians. It will be the SAA side's first outing since 2022, offering coach Rassie Erasmus a chance to build squad depth, while Zimbabwe prepares for their first Rugby World Cup since 1991. And Erasmus says that the fixture will allow emerging players to really prove themselves, while Zimbabwe coach Peter Benande hailed the opportunity to test his side against elite opposition. Meanwhile, still staying with the rugby, Stormers coach John Dobson has praised veteran flank Deon Fourie for his remarkable return from injury. The 39-year-old endured 2 years on the sidelines with an ACL tear, a tibia fracture and a torn bicep, but has bounced back after standout performances, including against the Bulls at Loftus Versfeld. And Dobson has admitted that he didn't expect Fourie to return in such form, highlighting his leadership and impact at the breakdown alongside rising star Paul de Villiers. In terms of football, there's still football on the go. Banyana versus Algeria. Banyana is still leading 1-0. It's the first of two international friendlies, and the game is into the second half. Meanwhile, Algeria's women's national team coach Farid Bensiti says that CAF's last-minute postponement of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations really portrayed disrespect for women's football. The announcement for the 2026 WAFCON would be moved to July-August was made just 2 weeks before the tournament was scheduled to kick off last month. And speaking in Durban ahead of their friendly with Banyana, Bensiti says it's important that women's football is taken seriously.
I think it was unbelievable that we treat women's football in Africa like this. I coach all over the world, and I think we are late, and we have to treat women's football and women's better than the CAF did it. I think there is two problems. You have one problem that when you have WAFCON, it's to go for World Cup. And African people are proud, and we have to have respectful about everybody. Secondly, we have to respect women's football.
Elsewhere, the fraud and corruption case involving SAFA President Danny Jordaan and 4 accused has been postponed to the 27th of May at the Palm Ridge Magistrate Court. The defense filed a fresh Section 342A application to investigate delays in proceedings, despite the same matter being dismissed last December and still pending appeal at the High Court. Elsewhere, Bayern Munich veteran Manuel Neuer is preparing for tomorrow's Champions League quarterfinal second leg against Real Madrid in what could be his final season. The 40-year-old goalkeeper was man of the match in Bayern Munich's 2-1 first leg victory, making 9 crucial saves to deny Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. Neuer, who has battled calf injuries in recent seasons, is weighing up his future with his contract expiring at the end of the season. Bayern, however, are open to extending his deal. And then in netball, the Telkom Netball League returns for the 2026 season in April. The new season kicks off with a Power Week 1 in KZN from the 24th of April to the 2nd of May, with Power Week 2 at Ellis Park from the 22nd to the 31st of May. And this year's competition will once again feature provincial teams and international sides, including Malawi and Zimbabwe. I'll have more on other sports in the next hour.
South Africa is listening. SAFM is bringing you the Madlanga Commission with clarity, context, and authority. From Monday, April the 13th, SAFM will cover every question, every mood, every controversy from the Commission hearings without clutter, just the moments that matter. 11:30 on the Daily Discourse, 14:55 on the Full Circle, and 17:45 on the National Pulse. Deeper reflection at 8 p.m. on The Meeting Point, with a powerful hour-long wrap on Friday evenings between 6 and 7 p.m. This is not just coverage, it's understanding what matters. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Economic news on SAFM. Facts and figures you can count on.
Well, Makwe Masile's got all those numbers. Makwe, you want to start with the Tharisa Q2 production report. Tell me about that.
Yes, Ashraf, their PGM production was down 11.6%, hampered by lower grades, but the PGM prices up 37%, and chrome production up 15.6%, with prices up 5%. Net cash position improved by 16%. Ashraf, Q2 is traditionally the toughest quarter for them, and further impacted by increased high rainfall, but they managed to do well. And indeed, the global markets are driven by headlines. Market participants were worried that the peace talks collapsed, and U.S. has started its own blockade of Strait of Hormuz. Now markets are cheering unconfirmed reports that U.S. and Iran are discussing a second round of face-to-face talks aimed at reviving the ceasefire negotiations. Expectations that the talks will continue are helping to stem the worsening of sentiment in financial markets, and markets were already leaning towards the view that diplomacy will stay alive in some way or the other, and traders will forever be interested in how long will the conflict last. And locally over February, mining production surged by 9.7% after rising by 5% in January, marking the strongest pace of growth since February 2024. And Ashraf, IMF downgraded its global economic growth projection to 3.1% from 3.3% for this year because of the Middle East conflict. Oil prices fell as the International Energy Agency forecast that the demand distractions will spread amid growing supply scarcity and higher average prices. Also, prices moved as reports on the back of the reports that the U.S.-Iran talks might resume. We see Brent crude is down 2.6% at $95 a barrel. Yellow metal recovered from previous session losses as hopes of the resolution weighed on the dollar and inflation fears eased. We see gold is up 1% at 4,797. Platinum also up 1% at 2,096. Global stocks like peace, Ashraf, hence hopes of peace talks resuming are lifting sentiments, with the JSE up 1.6%, led by our resources. The rand fell 0.5% against the dollar, 16.33, 22.09 against the pound, and 19.24 against the euro.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Makwe. We'll connect again tomorrow. And don't forget, we have an hour of the market, 6 to 7, when Jimmy Moyaha takes over in the hot seat.
You are listening to the National Pulse with Ashraf Garda.
So, listen, let me remind you two things. One is your responses to any of the issues we've spoken about today. In terms of what is it that drives the National Pulse, just let me hear it, because, you move the conversation, we do it. Let's do that together. That's one. Number two, I've had queries, people asking about the Madlanga Commission. Yes, we are not doing wall-by-wall, blow-by-blow coverage of the Madlanga Commission on any of the SFM shows any longer. There's been a change of plan. So from today, in fact, there's a wrap-up at 11:30 for about 15 minutes or so. There's a wrap-up at 5 to 3, in fact. And there's a wrap-up at on this show from 5:45. So it's an analysis of the key points of the day. So we've had that change, and the idea is to provide greater meaning than simply just coverage that just goes wall to wall with very little analysis. I do hope you enjoyed anyway. Right. Well, enjoy. What about Elon Musk versus Clayson Monyela? Clayson's a hugely important person within DIRCO, International Relations. Elon Musk is Elon Musk, South African, living abroad. Whether he called himself South African is another debate we'll be having. But there's been what is called a T-wars, Twitter wars between the two of them. Firstly, it started by Elon Musk over the last couple of days, really not just one or two, there's just extensive numbers of tweets with the same narrative. South Africa, racist laws, South Africa not allowing him to invest in this country with regard to Starlink because, he's not black. That sort of narrative, which, he's mentioned many times before, started over and over again. And of course, different people have responded to that, right? Now, linked to that then is Clayson Moniela, who then felt the need to respond. And in fact, Clayson made the point that this can't continue, and is essentially that he's got it wrong, right? And in doing so, Elon Musk then responded, not by saying Clayson's wrong, but in fact by really going on with him to the point where he used expletives, like serious ones you would not use anywhere. This is on his very own Twitter X platform, right? To the point that even I had to tweet to say, who do we report this? Elon Musk. Who do we report him to on that issue, Rem? Let's try and understand, for someone who understands communications, what are the big takeouts out of this? Tsepo Matseba is with me. He's a brand reputation specialist. I would suggest, Tsepo, you need to give Elon Musk a call.
Good afternoon, Ashraf. I nearly said good afternoon and good evening, Elon.
Well, maybe you can try it out. So listen, what do you look? I mean, arguments, debates about different views. I mean, that happens every single day, right? But would you agree this one's different because of the language, not of Clayson Moniela, but the language of Elon Musk?
Yeah, and at the center of this is not just a disagreement between two people, or Elon Musk and Clayson Moniela. I think it is a really serious collision between a global corporate power or an entrepreneur with access to serious money, probably one of the richest people in the world, national sovereignty of South Africa, and the rules of engagement in sort of like the digital public landscape. So what makes it significant is that it is playing out on a platform that Musk himself owns, which raises serious questions about accountability, influence, and the integrity of public discourse by leaders who have access to media platforms. It's actually, imagine if the CEO of a major global media conglomerate used the same platform to outplay different markets, to outrun countries and influence legislation, but not in a way that's constructive, but in a way that is demeaning and disrespectful to others. So this specific one, it looks like Elon is in a space where he does not care about his reputation any longer. We've seen serious leaders with access to capital, but who still cared about their reputation, including the late Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett. They've got access to resources, but they don't abuse their power in a way that Elon Musk does. Very disappointing at this level of a discourse, because it's now country to individual, but individual who's not willing to really engage in a sane discussion.
But I mean, if I look at that specific tweet, I mean, there was a tweet from someone called Aladi PL or Luami saying, with a video, saying me after getting paid peanuts. It's a child looking at an ice cream at like what seemed to be a birthday party, maybe a Spur or something like that type of typical thing at a restaurant. Clayson then, subtweeting about it and tagging Elon Musk, saying, watching the more than 600 USA companies investing more in South Africa, complying with South African laws and thriving, zero drama. Basically, he's saying the American companies who are in this country, they're complying and they're making money. And then Elon Musk replying to him, to Clayson, saying, stop being such a, and he's using an F word and then an A word, and you can work that out. Yes, ordinarily you'd think that if somebody else said so, would that person be reported to whoever, right? Now, with Elon Musk having said so, what are the big lessons to learn from this?
Yeah, look, let's talk about lessons for South Africa, because Clayson in this instance doesn't just represent himself, he's representing South Africa. So lessons for South Africa is to choose whether to debate with somebody who is automatically vile and negative and aggressive. And Elon Musk comes across as that kind of person. So the lesson here is whether, an important question, whether we're going to use his platform to engage with him and argue with him on his platform. So a global entrepreneur of that stature is not just a business leader. I mean, I think he's a geopolitical actor with influence over markets, government, and public opinion. I think it's okay for Clayson to state the fact that many companies, investors, do stay in South Africa and are reinvesting in South Africa, and most of those are American companies, American investors. That's an important issue to raise. I'm not sure whether it's an important issue to raise on a platform like X, given that with Elon's behavior and conduct, the platform is now losing its principles, its set of values, founding values, which was if somebody misbehaves, you could actually report them. And I doubt whether reporting Elon Musk is going to have a different impact. It reminds me of Truth Social, where U.S. President Donald Trump says what he likes every day, every second, and because he felt at the time that different media platforms and social media platforms were not giving him the authority to make the kind of noise that he wanted to make all the time. Disappointing, but lessons for us as a country, or those who represent our country, is that perhaps we may not necessarily gain value in engaging such a person, and in this instance I'll say such a character, because he is actually being colorful, aggressively colorful in nature. Here I'm talking about Elon Musk. Because language matters, and once you move into expletives like he did, you lose moral authority. But if you engage with someone who has already lost moral authority, the issue now shifts from substance to behavior.
Okay, so I mean, it's interesting, at the same time that Elon Musk has been tweeting, you have a parallel but a very different conversation taking place by Donald Trump. Now, they are friends. Sometimes they fall out, but they're very much allies and effectively wield enormous power. That particular tweet from Elon Musk had about 2 million views. I mean, that gives you the type of clout that it has. But should, therefore, from a DIRCO South Africa perspective, should Clayson Monyela take him on? Should he even engage him at all, or should he ignore Elon Musk?
No, I think Clayson Monyela has a position of authority and influence, and he represents South Africa. I don't believe that South Africa would want to engage diplomatically, but also brand-wise, that the country would want to engage with a person like Elon Musk. So, for example, you won't see, I would be surprised if I saw the CEO of an organization such as Proudly South African Tourism, or even Brand South Africa, or even President Cyril Ramaphosa himself engaging in such a dialogue with him. And therefore, if you want, technically speaking, you would hire in. This is where the role of influencers come in. Get your citizens, get the public to speak on behalf of the country, and let the world in public engage. But don't actually take the South African flag and drag it in the Elon Musk mud, because that's where he wants you. And by the time we set the record straight, he would have cost you 2 million views. And some of those views are views from extremists, but extremists who have a lot of time and energy to get involved in negative dialogue. Okay. So, no, not necessarily. I don't believe that it is essentially a better platform for us to talk to Elon Musk or to engage him, especially when we hold a diplomatic position.
So, again, Elon Musk on the one hand, Donald Trump, and by extension his people in the White House. I mean, they've been on this tirade against South Africa for quite a while now, right? Now, and I don't mean Clayson Monyela. I mean South Africa as a country, with whoever represents us. Are we managing that narrative? And if so, are we managing it successfully, or are we struggling? Meaning, whatever the negative narrative that's taken place, spotlighting South Africa, are we able to turn that around into a positive? Because it is a battle of words here, a war of words and minds.
Yes, of course. It may, at superficial level, seem like South Africa is struggling, and I think we struggled in the beginning, especially in the days when President Ramaphosa and his delegation went to visit the White House. That White House visit really made things worse as opposed to build for South Africa's image. But over a period of time, when you look at how South Africa responded, by simply focusing on the facts and shifting direction towards other issues and attracting other forms of investments elsewhere, for example, in the context of BRICS, and staying put on the real issue why many of these discussions are taking place, and the real issue why President Donald Trump of the U.S. speaks like he does. The real issue is the issue of Israel and Palestine and the ICJ case, the Gaza matter. That's the real issue. And South Africa has handled that, I think, very effectively, to a point where if you listen to popular voices in the U.S., business people, business leaders, but also politicians and former politicians, the trend from very, very credible sources says South Africa is correct to stand for itself and to defend its sovereignty, but also to defend consistently human rights. Because the minute you drop human rights in the interest of attracting its investment, you might as well actually join the war that you are not part of, because you don't have a set of values.
Okay.
But where I would like to add to lead with the conversation, or to live the insight, is for us that it's not necessarily that being engaging and being constructive means that you must join the mud. The mud is very dirty, and everybody in the mud gets dirty.
The last thing, therefore, on that issue, when we were accused of committing acts of genocide, South Africa, then our ambassador, Ibrahim Rasool, was in the USA, then he was very critical of the Americans, then got kicked out of the USA. A lot has happened. We visited the White House. At that stage, there's been this narrative from some people in South Africa to say, we cannot risk the wrath of the Americans, of Donald Trump, because it has financial imperatives that affect us, right? Has that changed in the light of what has happened with Trump versus Iran, Trump with so many other things that he's pronounced, Trump versus the Pope yesterday? It's an ongoing story. Has that changed? I mean, is Ramaphosa now being seen and his country in a better light than maybe they were seen a year ago?
Yeah, I think that let's start globally. The world has picked up that we are dealing with a very unstable leadership in the U.S. administration, especially those who are on the side of President Donald Trump. And so the world can see. But South Africans more so have recognized, when you look at Venezuela and you look at Iran, and the level of aggression, the words that President Donald Trump uses, the tone. And if you look at the tone, juxtapose that against the tone that Mr. Musk is using, being a South African, tells you a story that South Africa looks better from a messaging and how they are handling messaging perspective. Okay. And that said, it means that we need to really work on the issues that have to do with us more than issues that don't have to do with us, and then stretch our asset around human rights, and definitely reject the level of killing that is unnecessary, that's happening because of a discussion between the Israel and the U.S. and how they chose deliberately to attack innocent people and do so senselessly, without consideration.
Let's leave it at that. Tsepo Matseba, brand reputation specialist. Agree with him or not? Believe it or not? Either way, Trump versus South Africa on the one hand, Elon Musk versus Clayton Moniela. All of that happened. Let's get your reaction right after this.
X at SAFM Radio and at Ashraf Garda.
Right, lots of comment on the SANDF, sparked off by the conversation, well, of the 3 people being killed in Gugulethu overnight, and the conversation that SANDF or not is making no difference to areas, hotspots in South Africa, specifically in Cape Flats, in the townships in the Western Cape. Tabani in Cape Town, hi.
Hi, good afternoon, Ashraf.
Good afternoon indeed. Go for it. What's your point?
Yes, my point is, I'm of the view that the Community Police Forum were supposed to be involved in the patrolling of the soldiers and the police, because these people, they knew exactly what's going on in the society. Just patrolling around, it doesn't make any difference, because you'll find out they're just moving away from the hotspots. What if then, if these police are in cahoots with the criminals? That's another issue. But another thing is that not all of these people that are being shot in Cape Town are dealing with drugs. There were some reports, even in Eastern Cape, that people are being insured by insurances, and then after they are claiming the insurance. Because if they're being shot, then the money will be double that they claim. So it cannot be all about the drugs. It's some criminal element of another nature.
Okay, I got that. Thanks for that input, right? Let's go to Sello now. Sello in Mokopane, you're live. Talk about Elon Musk. Hi, Sello.
Thank you, Ashraf.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Look, Ashraf, I think I will differ with your specialist there in terms of Clayton responding to Elon factually so, because someone from the government need to put the truth out there and the facts to say, Elon, you are lying. This is not what is happening in our country. 1, 2, 3. Elon need to be attended to, and not by so-called social media influencer and so forth. Someone from the government need to put records straight. Because if we're going to rely on social media influencers, we have to pay those people. And I will say, the social media influencers also, if you check in that tweet, they are all over there. They are saying, Elon, you are lying. So Clayton, in my view, was just saying, Elon, you are lying. These are the facts.
But I mean, the guest we had did say that Clayton Monyela has got authority to speak. So in fact, he concurred that Clayton can talk. He's got the authority to back it up.
Yes, I thought I heard him incorrectly then, because I thought he was saying, somehow I hear him saying Clinton must not respond to Elon because it will be a fight.
Right.
But someone from authority need to clarify the matter.
He was very clear about his authority.
I think Elon Musk is a racist himself.
Got that. Salo in Mokopane, thank you for that. More reaction. Clayton Monyela, Elon Musk, Twitter wars or T-wars. What did you make of all of that? Let's get the news now. It's 5 o'clock. It's time for the news at 5.
Thank you, Ashraf. Zuma Sambudla's legal team wants to call back complainants in commemoration of the Holocaust. Good day to you. Duduzile Zuma Sambudla's legal team wants to call the complainant in an unrest-related case back to the stand in the Durban High Court. This comes as the case is adjourned to August. Defence advocate Darlene Mpofu told the court that Sarah Jane Trent testified before the ad hoc committee in Cape Town that she was required to lay the charge with the police for her boss, private investigator Paul O'Sullivan. Zuma Sambudla, who's the daughter of former President Jacob Zuma, is being charged with incitement to violence and incitement to sedition in connection with a series of tweets during the 2021 unrest. Mpofu told the court they want to compel a Hawks colonel mentioned in evidence to testify as well.
One of three things would happen. Either he will be called, which is we can't force the state to call a witness. Then he must be then made available to us. Or the third option is we would have to apply for the courts to call him in terms of section 167 of the Criminal Procedure Act. So that's always the last option.
The Matlanga Commission says it cannot say when Judge Aubrey Ledwaba, who's been recommended as Judge President of the Gauteng Division of the High Court, will appear before the inquiry. He was implicated at the Matlanga Commission after witness A and B alleged that he took a 2.5 million rand bribe to secure bail for alleged criminal cartel member KT Molefe. Judge Ledwaba has denied the allegations. Matlanga Commission spokesperson Jeremy Michaels.
We are going to and have been strictly observing the protocols of the confidentiality of our communication. And so I'm not going to say that so-and-so is going to appear on such and such a date. The process is unfolding. It's dynamic, as we've said on quite a number of occasions. And within the terms of reference, we should and probably will get there at a particular point, which I'm not going to be able to disclose at this point.
The Western Cape Department of Education says their one-time application window for placements for Grade R, Grade 1 and 8 for next year ends at midnight tonight. Western Cape Minister of Education, David Mania.
While the number of current Grade 7s with no applications submitted for next year has come down nicely, there are still 10,073 Grade 7s whose parents have not yet applied. We urge these parents to apply immediately to help us plan for a place for their children next year. Don't wait. Apply today before the midnight deadline.
Western Cape authorities say officers have arrested a suspect with abalone in his possession worth more than 635,000 rand on the N2 highway near Grabo. The Western Cape Minister of Mobility, Isaac Seleku, says officers stopped a light delivery vehicle and found 22 bags of abalone in the car. A commemoration of the Holocaust has been held at Pineland Cemetery in Cape Town, hosted by the Cape South African Jewish Board of Deputies. It forms part of a global acknowledgement of the 6 million people killed by the Nazis during World War II. The centre's Jacob Nowaski.
It's a story about human suffering, about the reaction to that suffering, but also it's talking about the perpetrators, about ordinary men and women. And some of them were Germans, but many were not, who for whatever reasons were part of that machine of destruction. So what we talk is both the story of hope.
That is Jacob Nowakowski from the Cape Town Holocaust and Genocide Centre. Top story, Duduzile Zuma-Sambuta's legal team wants to call the complainant in her unrest-related case back to the stand in the Durban High Court. That's SAFM News, I'm Greg Khos.
SAFM, guiding you through the rush hour traffic.
We kick it off with a look at the M1 North through Midrand. A couple of breakdowns today between Buccleuch and New Road, so that run through is jam-packed at least as far as New Road. After that, it does ease up, and it's not a bad run through Pretoria section of the N1 as well. And down to Winnie Mandela is being held by a breakdown just before the Fourways exit, and quite slow getting down the N3 today from Limbro Park all the way down to about the Heldon Ace interchange is the backlog there. Now, heavy traffic around Durban Spaghetti Junction today. There's some roadwork alterations out by Pavilion Mall and a stationary truck on the N2 South before you get to Spaghetti Junction. So it's a really big backlog. The N2 South queues from around about just after Queen Nandi Drive all the way to 4 Level. And then the N3 outbound backs from sort of Berea territory all the way through Spaghetti Junction down to the Pavilion Mall as well. That's really heavy on both of those highways today. Breakdown at Cliffdale, so you've got some delays and a bit of a wait to get through to Pietermaritzburg. And if you're leaving Pietermaritzburg, it's looking a lot better now on the N3 outbound towards Market Road and Ashburton. Cape Town, N1 out of town, fairly slow from the city centre right through to the Brackenfell area today. Robert Sobukwe backlogging at 35th Avenue. Robert Sobukwe slow both ways there. And a bit of traffic coming out of Stellenbosch on the R304 with a clog up towards Bottleray Road. With your traffic updates, I'm Rob Byrne.
In sports, the Sawa Banyana claim 1-0 win over Algeria. Cup absent as Proteas women door still open to Shabnim Ismail, and the women's race returns this August. More details at 5:30.
The National Pulse with Ashraf Garda on SAFM. You're listening to the National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
So things are shifting politically. I mean, you get a situation where you have a new leader of the DA, Jordan Hill-Lewis. You get him being critical, by the way, of the USA, Donald Trump, in terms of their moves in Iran. You also get him being critical of South Africa's position regarding Iran, interestingly enough. Suggesting that it's the views of the ANC and not of government, and it should be government because the DA is part of government. That's one. You also get him praising Mmusi Maimane in terms of his role when he was part of the DA. And I say that because we'll chat to the BOSA co-founder and deputy leader of Build One South Africa, Nobuntu Hlazo-Webster, because they have now merged with the People's Prosperity Movement. All of this realignment ahead of the election. So we'll talk to Nobuntu coming up just now. In the meantime, we're going to talk to Mzwanele Manye in a moment regarding the dismissal of an ethics complaint that once again goes back to that meeting at the White House. After this.
Kathy Mutlatlana on the National Briefing.
Do you believe that these assassinations are being used as a tool to silence?
Oh, guaranteed. Guaranteed. It's a tool to silence the person as well as a message to send to others who want to stop this very, very lucrative, corrupt act that's been taking place that these people have exposed. If you look at what happened with Nkumafole, it related to a septic toilet contract in the billions of rands as well as other contracts that he was looking at. If you look at Morumo Pena, it was a contract with DHA over 100 million rand for their IT. This is huge money we're talking about.
Chad Thomas, let me thank you.
This is Kathy Mutlatlana on the National Briefing. South Africa is listening. SAFM is bringing you the Madlanga Commission with clarity, context, and authority. From Monday, April the 13th, SAFM will cover every question, every mood, every controversy from the Commission hearings without clutter, just the moments that matter. 11:30 on the Daily Discourse, 14:55 on the Full Circle, and 17:45 on the National Pulse. Deeper reflection at 8 p.m. on The Meeting Point, with a powerful hour-long wrap on Friday evenings between 6 and 7 p.m. This is not just coverage, it's understanding what matters. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Ashraf Garda on SAFM.
Well, we'll have a summary of the Madlanga Commission today at 5:45. It's part of the new plan where it's not wall-to-wall coverage anymore, blow-to-blow coverage, but summary analysis so that you can pick out the key highlights, enough for you to be able to share that information with your family over supper. Hopefully, you're going to enjoy all of that, but there's more detailed coverage on the evening shows coming up tonight after 8 o'clock, so listen out for that. Right, so here's one. We just had this conversation around understanding the Clayson Monyela, Elon Musk conversation. Well, here's another. The public protector has dismissed an ethics complaint against the president, South Africa's president that is, over his conduct during the 2025 Oval Office meeting with the US President Donald Trump. Now, the MK party's Mzwanele Manye complained that Ramaphosa had violated the executive ethics code for failing to counter remarks by Minister John Steenhuisen about the MK party and the EFF in relation to the GNU. So let's get the thoughts of Mzwanele Manye. What does he think about it? Appreciate your time, Mzwanele, MP now for Mkhonto Mesizwe, of course. Much appreciate you joining us on the National Pulse.
Hi there, Ashraf. How much time do we have?
Well, 8 minutes. Make your point. not an hour. So first, are you surprised that the Ethics Committee has dismissed your complaint?
No, what, the ethics of the public protector?
Yeah.
Which one?
I'm talking about, the public protector dismissing an ethics complaint. So let's get that right. Your complaint, yeah.
No, we're not surprised at all. It was expected. In fact, sometimes when you do these things, you just want to be seen to have taken things through the process. Remember, let me take just a quick cynic route. We have a situation here where we have the former Chief Justice. This is the top of the pops judge, accompanied by another senior judge, accompanied by another senior counsel. And both these three legal eagles came to a unanimous conclusion that President Ramaphosa has got a case to answer in terms of Phala and all of that. And what did the public protector say? She said absolutely nothing. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing, absolutely nothing, and gave him a clean bill of record. Today, we're sitting with an IPIT report that shows a whole range of irregularities which the public protector failed to pick up. So indeed, when this happened, at the background of that, it would have been very ambitious of us to think that this public protector, if she could undermine a decision done by such an eminent panel led by a former Chief Justice, if she could turn that down and say she does not see what they see, for us to then expect for her to see what we see, was really ambitious.
All right,
But the point is that-
let's then stay with the narrow issue of what happened at the White House, because I mean that's the issue we're concerned about now, right?
Let me tell you what
What
happened
did
at the
you
White
see so wrong at the White House that got you to complain, and now you know that complaint has been dismissed?
Yeah, no, what happened at the White House is that first you have an executive, a member of cabinet, as in John Steenhuisen, a member of cabinet who went to the White House on the ticket of being a member of cabinet accompanied by President Ramaphosa. That meeting was not a meeting of various political parties, no. It was a meeting of the executive, as it were. He went there as a minister, as it were. Now, when he gets there, he forgets that he's a minister. He articulates the hateful DA position, which has got a serious problem with MK Party and the EFF. And he says those people are not wanted in the cabinet and all of that. Whereas the cabinet position is very different. The cabinet position is one that says everybody is welcome there and all of that. Now, we are saying that President Ramaphosa had the duty to call out Steenhuisen when he goes there and articulates a DA position wearing a cabinet position. The cap he was wearing was a South African cap, was not the blue cap of the DA. And therefore we expected him to speak in line with the cabinet position. Now we are saying President Ramaphosa is guilty out of omission, not commission. The person that committed the problem is Steenhuisen. But by omission, President Ramaphosa should have said, well, I hear what you are saying as a DA or whatever, but here you are a cabinet minister. What you are articulating here does not represent the government position. And
Okay.
that's why even government is, even today, if MK Party wanted to be part of that government, nothing stops it because there is no government position that is stopping anybody. But the DA has got a problem. Now, for Steenhuisen to go and abuse a cabinet trip for his own narrow, racist DA posture and not be called out for that, who said Ramaphosa is derelict in his duty.
All right, so now, having said that, and I hear your own story now, once again, clearly the public protector does not agree with you, right?
Yeah.
What is your understanding in terms of their ruling? Why did they not agree with you? Because you sound
No,
very convincing, but they didn't agree with you.
No, but I'm just saying to you that public protector, it's actually even a waste of time to go into that detail because a very simple example, if you have a public protector that can disagree with a former Chief Justice, with a senior counsel who's even practicing, with a former retired senior judge and all of that, if you have a public protector that can disagree with those people, is it worth discussing why she's disagreeing with me?
Well, I mean, my understanding is that the public protector felt there was no legal duty that was triggered, and the president in this case here he had no.
Let me tell you what she
Yeah.
said in her written
Yeah.
reasons. In the submission we made, we quoted various clauses in the Members Ethics Act that were violated. She then decided that no, actually that thing there, that particular clause, I think 2.2 or something, that clause relates to members of the executive, not the president. What we are saying, the clause does not say members of the executive except the president. When you say members of the executive, the president and the deputy president are included in that definition. So if there's transgressions by those members of the executive, you can't exclude the president and the deputy president in the mix.
Okay.
And for some reason, purely because those problems must be reported to the president in her own mind, therefore the president is not the executive that is being referred to
Okay,
here.
so clearly that's
But
been the
we say-
interpretation, right? I mean, the public protector saying the president's conduct did not amount to unethical behavior. Now, we can have this debate all day long, and
Yeah.
I understand people listening, many will be completely supportive of your position. Others will say, actually, the public protector is right in terms of the interpretation of the law as opposed to a personal call-in opinion, right? What happens next for you? What do you want to do about it?
No, well, look, we don't even think, well, what we can do, we can take a decision on review. We can take the decision on review, but that's a matter that the party must decide whether it's even worth it and all of that. The point is that as the incoming government, as the government in waiting, as MK party and the official opposition at this point in Parliament, we had a duty to point out these things. So we pointed them out. And if you have a public protector who is even failing in her duty, in our view, to play the role that she should be playing, the issue for us is perhaps less about the particular issue, but more about the fitness of this public protector to hold office. That's a discussion that we're going to have in the MK party, because we've got enough evidence now to show that this public protector, in terms of fitness to hold office, it's something that must be put on the table.
Okay, we look forward to seeing what you do next regarding the validity of the office of the public protector in this case here. Mzwanele Manyi, appreciate your time. MK party MP. In response to the public protector dismissing an ethics complaint against President Ramaphosa occurring around that White House debate that took place, if I can call it that, with Donald Trump and others, including in this case here, John Steenhuisen. Appreciate your time, Mzwanele Manyi. Let's get reaction from you. Certainly welcome on that one there. We'll talk about, BOSA, Build One South Africa, and their plans next.
You are listening to the National Pulse with Ashraf Garda.
Right, let's get to, in fact, there's comments on Mzwanele Manyi, absolutely, as I would expect them to be. Pule, you've got a thought. Hi, Pule.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good indeed. Go for it. What's your point?
All right. No, I just want to raise this thing of what Manyi has raised regarding Ramaphosa, that is the case to answer. You know, we approach this justice or legal issues selectively, and I'll tell you why. When things don't favor us, we are saying there's an interference as far as our interest of the case is concerned. But when they favor us, we applaud and congratulate the public protector. Over Manyi, we know their proximity to Ramaphosa. They hate Ramaphosa, including our Zungula. I hear Zungula saying the same thing. They are not saying Zuma has a case for the past 30 years has been duck and diving. When Zuma exercises his legal rights, they are saying he's received his rights. When Ramaphosa exercises his legal rights for a review and other things, they are saying he's abusing his power as a president. So it's a selective of approach as far as.
But I mean, are you surprised? You're not surprised, are you? I mean, most political party representatives tend to do that often enough.
Yes, that's why I'm saying I have a problem with people that say the Phala issue, the public protector has ruled, has undermined the commission of certain judge, and also for some judge make mistakes. They've been reviewed. They are not alpha and omega. There are judges that have sent people to prison, and the other judge or the Constitutional Court review it, and see it otherwise. Look what Pistorius, Judge Masepa gave him 6 years, and the Constitutional Court gave him 11 years. So judges make mistakes. So when they must advise Zuma that we have a case to answer, go to court.
Well, we know that. We know that. Pule, thanks for that. Thanks for engaging here on the National Pulse. Further engagement coming up soon. In fact, we engage with the representative from Build One South Africa. Next, what are their plans?
X at SAFM Radio and at Ashraf Garda.
So, there were plans, a few months ago, we'd heard, sometime last year, Build One South Africa coming together in some form with Rise Mzansi and the Good Party. Then I hear that actual collaboration or that actual merger will be deferred until after the municipal election. You may wonder why. In the meantime, there's now news that Build One South Africa has announced a formal merger with the People's Prosperity Movement. Let's understand what the story behind that story is. With me, Nobuntu Klazo Webster, BOSA's co-founder, deputy leader of Build One South Africa. Appreciate your time and thanks for joining us on the National Pulse.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. So, help us explain, what is the rationale behind this particular, and the word is merger, right?
So, PPM is a party that we have been engaged with for quite a long time. We align on values, we align on mission, and, we've been talking with them for a while. and they had engaged us and had been wanting to work with us. And so today we announced the merger, meaning that they are fully folding into Build One South Africa. They are being integrated into our structures, and we will be working together with them going forward. We're super excited. We are incredibly grateful that they have found a home in us, and this is because we really truly are aligned when it comes to what we want to achieve for South Africa, what we define politics as, and the politics of the day and what it should be, but also the contributions that we all believe that we have to make to building one South Africa.
And one thing besides being a sense of politically or policy aligned, what is it about the People's Prosperity Movement, PPM, that you see that is so advantageous to build one South Africa?
So their leader, Chad, was a mayor in the Western Cape before, and he has done incredibly well during that tenure when he was mayor at the time. He was the youngest mayor in South Africa at the time. And so, first of all, we have looked at the work that he's done, and he had done significant work in his tenure as mayor, but also in the time that he had built PPM. PPM was making had significant momentum and was making significant ground. And so we looked at the work that they had done. We looked at the number of people that have actually bought into that vision of him and the quality of that leadership team. And these are people that, other than the values, other than the policy, other than the mission and objectives that we had, we looked at and found that these are people that are really, really worth their weight in gold, and people that we would want to work with. And so we're super excited. Strategically, they have a strong footprint in the Western Cape, and so that makes it a really meaningful partnership for us, because it is one of the provinces that we have identified that we want to strengthen in the 2026 elections and going forward.
Yeah. What about leadership positions for members of that party, PPM?
So there are numerous positions. We are finalizing at the moment what will be the position for the president of PPM as he comes into Build One South Africa. We're finalizing some of the structural positions within our political structures that will be taken by some of the leadership. But what I've found most refreshing about this team of leadership is just their focus on what will I be doing more than what is the title, more than where will I fit in the structure. When they shared with us, each of them, what they want to do, there are people who are sharing, this is what I want to do, this is the skill I have, this is the strength I have, this is what I want to contribute, and this is how I believe we can contribute. So we're engaged with that on that basis, on the basis of this is the mission we all have, these are the programs we all have, this is a program I'd like to introduce. The programs that are being introduced by some of their leadership into Build One South Africa, and that has truly been refreshing.
Okay, let's then talk, sideways around the collaboration plans, merger with Rise Mzansi and the Good Party. I mean, where is that right now?
So we have agreed with Rise Mzansi and the Good Party that we will contest in our respective names as our respective brands for 2026, and we will convene post 2026. In seeing how else we collaborate. We've also agreed that we may find other ways to collaborate even during this campaign. There may be issues that we want to drive together, as an example, to keep the relationship going and to keep the muscle going. But we ultimately reached this decision having viewed some of the what we believed to have been some of the progress that we'd made in the time that we had collaborated, and really came to the decision that given the timing and given the time that we have, while we've made some ground and we've covered some ground, but it became clear that really to integrate fully the activists, as an example, needed time due to the complexity and the intensity of the elections, but also to get people used to a new brand, a new name. We found that would need more time, and that we would not have enough time to do that by the time it's 2026 LGE.
How? I mean, and yet, between the three parties, the performances many of them are new parties, but I mean, your party had, I think, 2 seats, maybe Rising Mzansi also probably 2 seats in that last parliament, if I'm not mistaken. So it's relatively small. You may look at it as promise, right? Wouldn't there have been a greater cause to say accelerate the need for one broader identity to try and make the serious dents against the other parties? They're all jockeying for position. Otherwise, there's a sense that maybe the public will say, well, if you're going to get 1 seat or 2 seats, what difference does it make for us in Parliament or elsewhere, in this case, local government?
It is absolutely the reason, one of the reasons why we had come together. And so we had to go through a technical process of assessing the ground that we'd covered from that perspective in terms of recognizability of the brand, and look at the time that we had left and getting experts in the room who were able to let us know what it would take and whether it would actually be possible to gain the kind of ground we need to gain to actually then leverage the strength of all 3 parties into this one new brand. And it was clear that we simply did not have enough time in order to be able to do that.
Okay.
And so, like I said, we remain committed to working together. But technically, from technical perspective, just given the facts and given what is before us, this 2026 LGE, we simply don't have enough time.
Which means, just very quickly, that if a person votes for one party, one of those 3, right, there's a good chance they must understand it'll adopt a similar principle to the GNU, that as part of a collaboration agreement, you're actually voting for all 3 parties.
What it means if you vote for one of the parties is that you know that these are parties that have a relationship, and these are the parties that have agreed that in future they intend to reconvene. In future, they intend to find ways to collaborate. At this point, you are voting for BOSA, you are voting for RISE, you are voting for GOOD, but with the understanding that these are parties that choose to work together and have formed some kind of relationship. Coalitions in this country are inevitable going forward, and I think it is safer for parties or for voters to know that these are the people that my party is willing to associate with. And I mean, we also sometimes get asked questions, who would you never work with? And I think that's fair. That's a fair enough question as well. In the same way that we get asked that, I think it's fair for voters to know this is who my party collaborates with, this is who my party talks to, this is who they'd work with in some sort of collaboration.
Okay. Just to conclude very, very, very briefly, who you may never work with. I don't know whether you're ever going to work with the DA again, but certainly, but Mmusi Maimane came in for praise from the leader of the DA just a few days ago, as you're well aware of, right? How are you going to leverage that praise of another party's leader by a party with the second most votes in the country right now?
I think that praise is simply the truth. That praise is simply the truth that at this point was at least conceded to by the DA, with Mmusi having been a leader there. Mmusi is a leader that has been known to bring different South Africans from different walks of life together. He's been known to be a leader that is a leader of integrity. This has been known about him, and so this is something we have always known. This is something people who follow Mmusi have always known, and it's the reason that they follow him. So this is not necessarily about saying we need to leverage it. It is something that we, in good faith, receive as the truth, as something that has been factual and has stood as a fact for South Africans to know.
Well, I can see in the build-up to the elections your posters quoting a DA leader about your leader. We'll see if it happens.
Thank you for the PR tactic.
Well, it makes complete sense to me. I would do that. Nabuntu Hlazo Webster, thanks for your time. Much appreciated. This in relation to Build One South Africa, now merging formally with the People's Prosperity Movement. Your reaction to that? Let's get the news headlines. Here's Greg.
In the headlines, the Matlanga Commission says it's still waiting for formal communication from Suleiman Karim's legal team regarding his appearance before the inquiry this week. Duduzile Zuma Sambutla's legal team wants to call the complainant in her unrest-related case back to the stand in the Durban High Court. And the IMF's latest World Economic Outlook shows that the war in the Middle East has reversed last year's growth momentum. A full update at 6 o'clock.
SAFM, guiding you through the rush hour traffic.
It's not a bad run across Joburg. It's what I would call a mid-month vibe. It really has that feel about it. Volumes on the lesser side today. A couple of problems though. N3 between Limbro Park and Edenvale. So then Edenvale down to Germiston. That's all fairly heavily backed up as well. N1 north through Midrand getting away with it. The N1 through Pretoria looking pretty good as well. All the action really is stacked up around Durban Spaghetti Junction today. The N2 going southbound and the N3 coming out. A couple of issues there. One is an alteration of the roadworks on the N3 at Pavilion. That's pushed the queue right back to Berea. That's really heavy via Spaghetti Junction down to Pavilion. And then into that, obviously the N2 is heavily congested, but there's also a stationary truck on that congested N2 before Spaghetti Junction. That's pushed the queue halfway back towards a Queen Nundy Drive territory. So it's all desperately slow getting through there. Wakesley Road, or Bel Air at least, going from Chief Albert Lutuli down towards the M7 for connections to Wakesley Road. That run through is unusually busy. Bit of traffic around Key Ridge up to Cliffdale to watch as well. And if you're around Cape Town today, the highway is still fairly busy, particularly coming out of the city centre. Philip Kwasana and Nelson Mandela Boulevards both heavy out towards Hospital Bend. The N1 from the city out to Kuberg Interchange is heavy, and even the N1 inbound backlogging from Sable Road in towards that Kuberg Interchange area. With your traffic updates, I'm Rob Byrne.
This is SAFM Sports with Tuming Kapele.
Chewy's got an eye on Banyana.
Yes, Banyana beat Algeria 1-0 in the first of two international friendlies at the Princess Magogo Stadium. And Tabi Singh Majia is the one that scored the one and only goal of the game. She actually walked away with also player of the match. And next up, the second game is on Friday at the Kings Welitini Stadium. Remember, Banyana are using this as a preparation for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, which is coming later on this year. Meanwhile, 18 Senegalese football supporters convicted over a pitch invasion during January's Africa Cup of Nations final in Rabat have denied wrongdoing in court. The fans were sentenced in February to prison terms ranging from 3 to 12 months for hooliganism, but prosecutors are seeking longer sentences on appeal, and the supporters argued that they were forced on the pitch by crowd surges or to avoid being spat on, not to protest refereeing decisions. Meanwhile, in terms of rugby, the South African A team will return to action on the 20th of June in Gqeberha, taking on Zimbabwe as a curtain raiser for the Springboks season opening clash against the Barbarians. It's going to be SAA side's first outing since 2022. Coach Rassie Erasmus a chance to build squad depth while Zimbabwe prepares for their first Rugby World Cup since 1991. Erasmus says that the fixture will allow emerging players to prove themselves, while Zimbabwe coach Peter Panande hailed the opportunity to test his squad against elite opposition. The doubleheader at Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium promises a thrilling start to the rugby season, with kick-off at 12 p.m. for SAA and 3 p.m. for the Springboks. Then in terms of cricket, Proteas woman coach Mandla Mashimbi confirmed that Marizanne Cup remains unavailable for the India inbound T20 International Series. After the squad was announced yesterday, Cup fell ill during the third T20 against Pakistan earlier this year and subsequently missed the recent tour of New Zealand. Mashimbi, however, remains hopeful that the veteran all-rounder will make it in time for the Women's T20 World Cup in England in June, and also says that she has already begun return to play protocols.
The Cup is doing really well. She started with a RTP now and a rehab, so she should be fine. Unfortunately, she won't be ready for the India tour. But also there's a silver lining there, because then obviously it means that she rests a little bit more, and then just before we go, she will be shooting from all cylinders, and she will be hungry. I actually spoke to her the other day, and she is looking forward to coming back into the environment and making an impact.
Then the women's race returns this August with 3 major events across Durban, Cape Town and Johannesburg. The series kicks off on the 2nd of August in Durban and continues in Cape Town on the 9th of August and then culminates in Johannesburg on the 16th of August. Over 30,000 women are expected to take part in the scenic 5 and 10 kilometer routes, celebrating inclusivity, empowerment and community. And the race also continues its support for Pink Drive in the fight against breast cancer. And organizers say that the 2026 edition will raise the bar for women's racing, offering elite athletes and first-time participants and alike an unforgettable experience. That's it from my side. I will be back with sports tomorrow.
With Top Sport from 7 o'clock.
No,
not
Michael
tonight.
will be there.
Okay.
Michael will
But
be
you'll be
there on
back
the
tomorrow.
sports show. Yeah.
Thank you.
You are listening to Joanne Joseph on SAFM.
Mr. Beaumont, how easy was it to get hold of this report?
We began a process in April last year where we put forward a PIA application. We had every single delay thrown at us. Their email systems were down. It really stopped one short of the dog ate my iPad report. And it was only when we then initiated legal action in January this year that the Minister of Police announced the declassification of this report, and the declassification meant it was available. But we continued applying and they kept refusing us. And it was only when we issued a public statement a week ago criticizing the fact that the document was still not available despite the declassification that suddenly IPID moved to give us the report.
Michael Beaumont is the National Chair of Action SA.
The Daily Discourse. More than talk, real understanding.
Economic news on SAFM. Facts and figures you can count on.
Jimmy Moya hosts the SFM Market Update 6 to 7. So to set the scene, you have an African bank story, Jimmy.
Good afternoon, Ashraf. Good afternoon to the listeners. I certainly do. The team at African Bank have had a bit of a run-in with the Prudential Authority by way of some transactions that have been questionable, especially where they relate to the capital adequacy requirements that are required to be held by the banks. It is all very complicated, but it seems as though there is a financial services tribunal ruling that found that African Bank was indeed in the wrong. So we're going to unpack that with our banking specialist, Koki Koiman of Denker Capital, and try and make sense of what the implications of this would be. Of course, we remember that just last month there was the sudden resignation of the Capitec, or rather of the African Bank CEO, Kennedy Bungane. So we're going to take a look at that and see if there might be something amiss within the bank as it aims to hopefully still get ready to list as it was planning to do on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. We're going to see what we can make of the latest developments around that and where we go from here. We also have a conversation taking a look at the impact that fuel is having on the Road Freight Association, or rather on the road freight companies with the Road Freight Association. We're going to speak to their CEO around some of the challenges that these fuel price increases have specifically on that area of the logistics sector. Then we have a conversation with Wandile Sihlobo, Presidential Envoy on Agriculture and Land, to take a look at food scarcity, also in light of the latest developments out of the Middle East. We know that those tensions are not simmering down at the rate at which we thought they would, and therefore new challenges are being presented on a day-to-day basis as to how we are navigating these price shocks. It is Tuesday, so it means we also have a property conversation. We're going to be taking a look at fraudulent deeds or fraudulent title deeds and how to stay safe from that as well. So that's what's coming up on the show a little later on. Before we get to those conversations, though, a sense of some of the market movements throughout the day. It's been a green day on the equities front, a stronger day in part on the rand side of things, at least against the US dollar, not so strong against the British pound and the Australian dollar, but not too weak. If we look at where we have been, it is at about 22 Rand 18 cents against the British pound, 11 Rand 66 against the Australian dollar, and about 16 Rand 34 cents against the US dollar. The price of a Bitcoin, $75,000 a Bitcoin. With the slightly stronger Rand, that still puts us firmly above the 1.2 million Rand mark, almost 1.23 million to be more precise. The gold price at the moment is back above $4,800 a fine ounce. We'll see if it holds there, if it goes back towards the $5,000 $1,000 an ounce level. The Brent crude price, $95 or so a barrel, depending on what time of the day you're looking at it. At this point, that is the one market that could give you very different prices depending on just the time of day. The platinum pricing, though, $2,100 a fine ounce. Palladium's closer to $1,600 a fine ounce at the moment. And if we look at those equity markets, as I said, by and large in the green, the Nikkei in Tokyo, the biggest winner, 2.4% to the green there. South African markets, the resource stocks up 1.3%, industrials 1% to the green, and financials up almost 0.4%. The all share 1.1%, the top 40 1.1%. We're going to be looking at these and other market movements a little later on. When we come back, I want to get just thoughts around whether or not markets are still able to continue moving on if it's as business as usual. Highly doubtful, though, considering that these tensions seem to be leaving markets very, very concerned. But, of course, those conversations after the 6 p.m. news. For now, Ashraf, back to you.
Thanks for that, Jimmy. Enjoy your show. Looking forward to that. On my way home, I will certainly catch it. Absolutely.
X at SAFM Radio and at Ashraf Garda.
So we'll have a wrap of the Madlanga Commission coming up shortly. As you know now, things have changed. So it's not, ball by ball, blow by blow coverage, but certainly an analysis of the day. So that comes up pretty shortly. Yes, comments. Ashraf, I'm concerned about AI, where it tends to be invasive, maybe invasive. The meeting Red Assistant wants permission to a lot of personal information on my computer. There's nothing with meeting assistant note taking. I think I've missed you slightly there. Hi, Ashraf and SFM listeners. On the Bakkersdal, soldiers and police were deployed. Now the Zamazamas has run away from the squatter camps to the households. They have rented rooms now. It's likely we're living in gas chambers when they process this gold. Okay. All the smoke is getting into our houses. It affects us. Headaches and coughs, adults and small children. Where can we report them? Of course, the local police are corrupt. I tell you what, let's I'm going to get Ntabiseng and Keith just to see if they can follow up on that particular story, right? There's more on the GNU. Here we are.
Afternoon, Ashraf, it's Tumi. I just want to comment on the GNU matter. I feel like GNU is it's ANC number 2. Those who are going to be voting for GNU will be voting for the fake ANC. Why am I saying this? Is because the decisions are still made by ANC there, by GNU. So, Gafan, it's the same, yeah.
Well, I mean, to go back to the point from Jordan Hill Lewis, which is very interesting. One is critical of is not being a fan of Donald Trump and not being a fan of, MAGA, Make America Great Again, and their policies. Also critical of their attack on Iran, which is interesting coming from the DA, right? But at the same time, he's also saying South Africa, as government, has no business engaging with Iran the way it's currently engaging their relationship. And he's making the point that has to be negotiated at government level and not at ANC level. And at this point in time, he's suggesting, and I'm paraphrasing, that effectively the policy of the ANC with regard to Iran is the policy that's being maintained at the moment. So, yeah, I wonder what your thoughts are, but also what are your thoughts are regarding, who makes policy in a GNU around international policy, and of course local too. I would think it would be the same things as well. Right. Okay, what we're going to do, Ashraf, money is a serious problem with Ramaphosa, and I think he needs to deal with these issues. Each time he speaks about Ramaphosa, he is guilty, quoting, right? Now it's omission, you, always howling. And another one, Ashraf, Jimmy Money is just babbling. He must stop politicizing issues. The retired chief judge made recommendations based on not what he and his committee investigated, but it was based on the hearsay by the opposition politicians gave the committee. Jacob Zuma's bitterness against President Ramaphosa is well known phenomenon, and we have a chance to play more, but next up we'll talk about the Madlanga Commission.
The National Pulse with Ashraf Garda.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide, leading the conversation.
This Freedom Month, we reflect, we remember, and we celebrate how far we've come. 30 years into democracy, South Africa continues to shape a future grounded in justice, equality, and opportunity for all, under the theme Freedom and the Rule of Law. 30 years of democratic citizenship. SAFM will bring you all things freedom, the voices, the stories, and the conversations that matter. Join us as we honor the journey and explore what freedom means today. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
So today was day 89 of the Madlanga Commission, and this time round was the former EMPD boss Julius Mkhwanazi returning to the commission following the postponement of his testimony last month due to a family bereavement. Right now, in the testimony, Mkhwanazi was interrogated concerning the deployment of officers beyond their designated jurisdiction and the broader implications for metro policing. This in reference to the alleged unlawful operation that resulted in the stolen precious stones valued between 14 million rands and 45 million rands. Here's more.
They were still busy. My first question, who's Officer Makwenzi?
He's an EMPD officer working at hijacking testing unit.
So he's one of the people you personally had deployed?
Yes, from EMPD.
Okay. You say you found them. Who's the them?
No, I spoke with him. He said there are some members are inside.
Now, who did you deploy to this?
From EMPD, it was Officer Mackenzie, Officer Kesha. I think it was the two of them.
Kesha Stolz?
Yes.
And Mackenzie would be Eddie and Mackenzie?
Yes, Chair. I think there were two on that day. Yes, in that operation.
And is there, because you sound a bit hesitant, what record could we possibly have regard to determine who exactly you deployed in the operation? What record of EMPD would you say we should turn to?
They also submitted statement to confirm that there were two.
No, I'm asking about the deployment. You deployed them, remember?
Yes, in their books, they will have information.
So you write in their books that you are deploying them, or?
No, remember I've said in that time we didn't have OP books and everything, but on daily basis, in fact there was an inspector who's called Officer Schultz, but he decided to retire during that time because of personnel. They were not having an operational commander. Then Officer Stolz took over to become an acting supervisor. She was recording each and every information of the team, all documenting detailed. Sometimes I will check, hey, can I check your things? I do surprise visit to different teams. Then I will find the book that she recorded all the things, the activities of the day, the activities of a week. You will find it in her book. As I've said that we didn't have OP book, but she was recording each and everything.
Commissioner Mkhwanazi, hence my earlier question to you, because the request is made to you. The request is made to you by Gerald Maseko, Chief Inspector, Deputy Chief Inspector, and then you deploy Mackenzie and Stolz. Where do you record A, the request made to you, and B, your decision to deploy these two people? Because we are concerned not about what they recorded, but what you recorded.
Yeah, I deployed them telephonically. I didn't record anywhere. I phoned.
So you don't have a diary or an entry in writing where details of Chief Inspector Maseko, the nature of the operation, how many people are required from your team, who you've decided to deploy. You don't have a written record of that.
I had diaries where I record everything, Chair. Can I go and check? But I've changed offices many times. But I had diaries where I will record. If I visit, I will record, or in meetings. In my diary, I will write everything.
More to come on the Madlanga Commission and your own thoughts on the Commission right after this.
What's with the camouflage, Dorf?
I'm going hunting. Just me, nature, and my most underrated off-roader, a rental car.
Hunting? You could fit that little car in your backpack, Dorf.
I sit in the driver's seat. Baggage at the back, chairs on the roof. The kudu is going to get in and strap its own seatbelt, Savvy.
Could do with more legroom, Dorf. Go hunt for a new 4x4 at Weebuck Cars. They got great deals.
Oh, shot, Savvy.
Don't be Dorf, be savvy. We buy cars geared for that big trip, geared for you.
Kathy Mutlatlana on the National Briefing.
The Democratic Alliance member of Parliament, Karabo Kakao, she has described a forced withdrawal from the race for Deputy Chairperson. What do you know about this?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a let's say, an incorrect description of a situation, because one can only be forced to withdraw if you were in the race. And in terms of our internal rules, your nomination must be supported by a certificate of good standing, which she failed to obtain. So she was technically never in the race.
Werner Horn, a member of Parliament for the Democratic Alliance and presiding officer.
This is Kathy Mutlatlana on the National Briefing.
This Freedom Month, we reflect, we remember, and we celebrate how far we've come. 30 years into democracy, South Africa continues to shape a future grounded in justice, equality, and opportunity for all, under the theme Freedom and the Rule of Law. 30 years of democratic citizenship. SAFM will bring you all things freedom, the voices, the stories, and the conversations that matter. Join us as we honor the journey and explore what freedom means today. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Ashraf Garda on SAFM.
So, just as we wrap up, you may want to just add your own thoughts on, for you, the key moments of today. Now, one is the Commission announced that the Northwest businessman Suleiman Karim will not appear before the Commission as scheduled this week. I think he was scheduled for Thursday, this after he was hospitalized with a suspected heart attack. Not too sure whether that's been diagnosed, but I know that he's still in ICU. That's been confirmed. And then early on, there was drama where the Commission had to take a break to deliberate on the validity of the bereavement of the passing of the mother of Julius Mkhwanazi. Now, what happened? Evidence leader Mtlape Sello says Mkhwanazi must be held in contempt because he lied to the Commission as it was not his biological mother that passed on, to which Mkhwanazi rebutted that he was in fact raised by his stepmother. So when is a stepmother not a mother, or when is a mother a stepmother? I mean, that's amongst the things that came through today, right? I tell you what, there were other things that were just interesting in terms of direct quotes, right, that I thought I'd just share with you. Firstly, the chair of the Commission said, and this is just quotes, if operational details are reaching suspects, the source must be internal. That is the concern before this Commission. And then saying, we are not dealing with a single lapse. The pattern suggests something more structured. And the evidence leader said, you gave a different version previously. Help us understand why your evidence has now changed. And then further, this communication suggests foreknowledge. Are you saying that is merely coincidental? And thirdly, we put it to you that this was a tip-off. And then finally, you are asking the Commission to accept a version that is not supported by the documentary evidence. As far as the witness is concerned, here's a quote, the difficulty is that the records do not reflect the full context of that commission. And amongst the others, the panel and the Commission questioning in terms of follow-ups, this is an important one. You were in possession of information you should not have had at that stage. How did you obtain it? Furthermore, the Commission must determine whether this was incompetence or deliberate interference. And finally, there appears to be a relationship here that goes beyond professional interaction. I thought I'd just play those things for you. So let's leave it at that. We'll do it again tomorrow at 5:45, thereabouts. There's comments from you that we must pick up. Let's play it.
Good afternoon, Ashraf. You are speaking to Dumi from Potchefstroom in Mashisin. Hey, Ashraf. I've never seen such a happy minister since the democracy. Mr. Gayton McKenzie. He's the happiest minister I've ever seen. And the way he defends our president, it makes me wonder if that party falls apart, he'll join ANC one time. Because he's praising president now. They want to impeach the president. PA is the first political party that said no.
Okay, well, he's one of many whose reputation, or rather position, reputation maybe not the right word, his visibility has been enhanced because of the GNU. Otherwise, that would not be the case. What about Jimmy Manyo, Mzwanile Manye?
Hey, good afternoon, Ashraf. This is Tanto here. Aye, man, Ashraf. People like Mzwanile Manye, I don't think really must be brought to the radio because they are full of hatred, none of facts. There's nothing they're saying that makes sense. There's nothing they're saying that you must agree that they are the government in waiting. I mean, you can't just hate a person, hate. You must attract us to your party. Tell us what you're going to give us. Tell us what is best. Not this thing of what, all this, absolute, I don't know how to call it. Thank you. Great show.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, for today, it was not about other things. It was specifically around the complaints he made and the ruling from the public protector. That's what he had to respond to, right?
Good afternoon, SAFM, and to listeners. It's Alvin Kamda from Durban. Mr. Ashraf, it's disappointing to see the deployment of the SADF in Cape Town, and the killings are still taking place. My point is that to deploy the army is costing us, the taxpayer, millions of rands, where there's a budget allocated. So who is tracking to see the benefit of this money spent, example, in rolling out the SADF in Cape Town? Is the money spent, is it really bearing the fruits of curbing drug-related wars? Because the hard-earned tax money is being spent on deploying the soldiers, and is it bringing any fruits at the end of the day? Thank you.
Okay, you've made your point, and you're disappointed. I hear that. Here's the last one I can play.
Hi, Ashraf. It's Jennifer from Wentworth. Ashraf, with regards to the army on the Cape Flats, having worked with community for a while, I found that sometimes you try to figure things out and you just can't, and the community sits with the answers. Clearly, the community is not happy with what the army is doing. They're following the police fares. So let the community tell the army and the police what they would like them to do, because they're not living on the ground. The people are living on the ground. So let the community tell them what to do, and maybe that way we'll get somewhere. Thank you.
All right, but I mean, can the community really instruct? They can advise, they can tell them what's wrong, but they can't actually implement strategy and expect, the army or the SAPS to do that on behalf of the community. Well, listen, that's the show. Thank you for listening. Really appreciate you listening in, and the support and the levels of engagement. Live on air, WhatsApp comments, social media posts. I'll go and check some of those out now. Tell us what for you. You can post on social media. What for you has been the top 3 conversations we had today. I wonder what would that be. Post it on social media, Facebook, as well as on Twitter and Instagram. I'll certainly check it out. Set your times for tomorrow, 3 to 6 p.m. for another round, if I can call it that, of the National Pulse. We feel the pulse of the nation. Right now, Greg House, he brings us the news.
Thank you again, Ashraf. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Uncertainty over businessman's appearance at the Matlanga Committee